Chapter 1840. The hesitation and reserve in the past were entirely because of Qin Mengyan. Now, with Sun Jia as a good friend, what was there to be afraid of? If Qin Mengyan doesn't accept it, then she doesn't accept it. Isn't it good and happy for me to be with Sun Jia, Xiao Qing, and Zhou Jia? Moreover, Wang Xiaoyan is also on my side. In this way, even if Zhou Jia is neutral, there are 3 people who support me. With so many friends supporting me, what else do I have to worry about? Sometimes, you may not be able to figure out a thing even after a few years, but sometimes, you can figure it out in an instant. This was what it meant to be enlightened all at once. Sisters, first of all, let us welcome Zhao Ying with a warm round of applause. Sun Jia said and clapped first. Under the influence of Sun Jia's atmosphere, the others also clapped. Of course, everyone was sincerely welcoming Zhao Ying, and they weren't just responding with false enthusiasm. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Zhao Ying didn't expect everyone to be so enthusiastic. She was so excited. Today is the happiest day in my life. With your support, I am very happy, hee. It will be great if everyone understands and tolerates each other in the future. Sun Jia said with a smile, Ying, since you have joined our big family, then I want to take this opportunity to say something to everyone. As Sun Jia said this, the smile on her face disappeared. Her body that was sitting on the sofa was a lot straighter. When everyone heard that Sun Jia was going to talk about business, they all put away their smiles. They looked at Sun Jia without blinking. They were all listening attentively. Sisters, I want to say something that is related to our happiness. Sun Jia said seriously, we all like Yang Ming, but everyone knows that Yang Ming's real girlfriend is Qin Mengyan. I believe that everyone knows what kind of personality Qin Mengyan has, and Zhao Ying should have a deeper understanding of it. It wasn't a secret that Zhao Ying was scolded as a vixen by Qin Mengyan at the temple fair. Many people knew about it, so it also proved that the relationship between Qin Mengyan and Zhao Ying wasn't good. They had a good relationship now because Qin Mengyan felt that Zhao Ying and Yang Ming had no relationship. But once the two had a relationship, would Qin Mengyan accept her? This was a very important thing. Qin Mengyan was originally a narrow-minded person. Although she had changed and accepted Zhou Jia, Lin Jiyun, and Shuya, she couldn't accept the others. Especially Zhao Ying, her former teacher, and Xiao Qing, her god-sister. As for Sun Jia, Qin Mengyan probably wouldn't accept such a competitive character. Sister Sun Jia, in fact, Mengyan is just a child with a temper. She hasn't grown up yet. Zhao Ying explained in a low voice. Regardless of whether she is a child with a temper or not, now it is time to solve this problem. It is even urgent. Sisters, we are also Yang Ming's women. We are also his lovers. What if Qin Mengyan doesn't accept us in the future? Sun Jia said very emotionally. This matter, she had actually premeditated. Qin Mengyan was Yang Ming's official girlfriend, but she wasn't the best candidate for the master of the harem. Qin Mengyan was a little narrow-minded and liked to be jealous. Although she had obviously changed a lot during this time, Qin Mengyan probably still couldn't accept so many people. In order to avoid the proliferation of contradictions in the future, Sun Jia must come up with a solution. Yang Ming would live in seclusion in Island X sooner or later, but at that time, would everyone follow him or not? Qin Mengyan definitely had to follow, but what about the others? The others couldn't continue to stay in Songjiang, right? If at a critical moment the contradiction suddenly broke out without any preparation, it would be a mess. It was better to take advantage of the situation now. It hadn't reached the point where the contradiction was irreconcilable, and win over the women first. At least if Qin Mengyao made trouble at that time, they would be prepared. Although everyone felt that Sun Jia's words were a bit harsh, if they could be accepted by Yang Ming and be with him openly like Chen Mengyan, it was also everyone's wish. So at this moment, when Sun Jia raised the topic, no one would object. Everyone lowered their heads silently. People were always selfish. They could stand aloof from the world, but they also didn't want to be bullied. Sun Jia, if we talk about these topics, will it make Yang Ming embarrassed? Xiao Qing was more sensible and didn't want to add trouble to Yang Ming. No, I guess he knows that we are talking about this. He will be too happy. Sun Jia snorted. When it came to understanding Yang Ming's mind, Sun Jia still grasped it very accurately. We have solved this big trouble in his heart for him. He will definitely be very happy. Otherwise, he will have a headache. After listening to Sun Jia's words, Yang Ming, who was hiding under the stairs and using his special ability to peek at what they were saying, really wanted to applaud Sun Jia. This fox Sun is really cunning. She knows what I am thinking. Indeed, the problem of whether these women could get along well in the future was a problem in Yang Ming's heart. He had been thinking about how to solve this problem before, but because he had to go to Yunnan to perform a special dangerous mission recently, Yang Ming didn't care too much about the coordination of the relationship between the women around him. It was not certain whether he could come back or not. Why would he care so much? Of course, if he could come back safely, it wouldn't be too late to study other things. However, since Sun Jia could help him solve this big trouble first, then Yang Ming was also happy to see such a result. He just didn't know if Sun Jia wanted to coexist peacefully with Chen Mengyan, or if she wanted to usurp power and occupy the position of the master of the harem. So, Yang Ming widened his eyes and was ready to see what Sun Jia would say next. This is a problem. Xiao Qing nodded and looked at Zhou Jie. Jie, what do you think? I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't know what to do. Zhou Jie shook her head with a pale face. Sister Chen Mengyan is very good to me. I don't want to hurt her, but Sister Xiao Qing also takes care of me. I can't let her down. Zhou Jie was a bit embarrassed. She had a good relationship with Chen Mengyan, but her relationship with Xiao Qing was also very good. She couldn't choose one of them and go against the other. Jie, I don't want to make it difficult for you. Sun Jia smiled after listening to Zhou Jie's words. We are just preparing a countermeasure. You can rest assured that I won't fight with Chen Mengyan, and I don't want to be the master of the harem. I just want everyone to unite and protect the interests of our sisters. Chen Mengyan doesn't want to accept us. If we don't work hard, then who can help us? Chapter 1841. After listening to Sun Jia's words, Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. Yang Ming was most afraid that Sun Jia wanted to compete with Chen Mengyan for something, such as the position of the master of the harem, or the position of the official girlfriend. Yang Ming couldn't give these to her. Because these were all promised to Chen Mengyan, Yang Ming couldn't promise Sun Jia again. If Sun Jia really wanted to compete for these things, Yang Ming would only be more difficult to be caught in the middle. Even if he didn't agree and didn't participate, he would be very worried at the same time. After all, how could Chen Mengyan be Sun Jia's opponent? If Sun Jia wanted to compete for the position of the master of the harem, then Chen Mengyan could only give it up. But now Sun Jia didn't want to compete for these. She just wanted to maintain their status and interests. She wanted Chen Mengyan to accept them. If Chen Mengyan didn't accept them, then they would join forces and force Chen Mengyan to accept them. Although this was somewhat unfair to Chen Mengyan, if Yang Ming stopped Sun Jia from doing this, it would be unfair to Sun Jia, Xiao Qing, and even Zhao Ying who joined later. Both sides were unfair. Yang Ming could only pretend that he didn't know and didn't participate. As long as he didn't participate and didn't favor one side, then in the end, their conflict would be a conflict, and it wouldn't make any big trouble. However, once he favored one side, the consequences would be serious. If he favored Chen Mengyan, what about Sun Jia and Xiao Qing? If he favored Sun Jia, how could he help her to deal with Chen Mengyan? Women's matters should be solved by women. The most important thing was to not participate in it. Yang Ming sighed. Since Sun Jia was a woman who understood things, she shouldn't make it difficult for him. She knew how to make him worry less. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. He thought too much. Zhou Jiejie, who was in the room above, heard Sun Jia's words and sighed in relief. She nodded, as long as it's not against Sister Mengyan. If you just want to fight for everyone's interests and let Sister Mengyan accept you, then I will also support you. Zhou Jiejie's heart was actually very kind. She finally got together with Yang Ming. She also wanted others to be happy, so when she heard Sun Jia's words, she also expressed support. With Zhou Jiejie's support, Sun Jia was very happy. She didn't expect Xiao Qing to get Zhou Jiejie silently and let her stand on her own side, that, of course. Zhou Jiejie nodded with a red face. Then since we have reached an alliance, let's discuss what we should do if Chen Mengyan doesn't accept us. Sun Jia said, let's brainstorm. Hearing this, Yang Ming didn't intend to listen anymore. As long as Sun Jia didn't take the initiative to go against Chen Mengyan and just wanted to protect their own interests, Yang Ming was relieved. As for what plans they had, Yang Ming didn't want to care. It was not good to know. It was better to give them some space. Fan Jinja first found a clinic to deal with the wounds on his face and body. He cursed Yang Ming's 18 generations of ancestors. After dealing with the wounds, he quickly drove to the Hai Mingwei resort in Donghai. Yang Ming, we can't do it openly. I will play dirty with you. See if I don't kill you and cripple you. Fan Jinja sneered and thought, aren't you with Zhao Ying? Okay, I will tell this to Chen Mengyan. Let's see how you are going to die. Wahahaha. Fan Jinja's mentality was very dark. He wanted to use Chen Mengyan to vent his anger for himself. As long as Chen Mengyan saw Yang Ming and Zhao Ying together, she would definitely make a big fuss with Yang Ming. At that time, Yang Ming would not be able to be with Zhao Ying, and he would have a chance. However, he must control the timing well. It would be best to let Chen Mengyan catch the adulterers when Zhao Ying and Yang Ming were alone in a room. This would be effective. Otherwise, if the two of them were only doing other things together, wouldn't his efforts be in vain if Yang Ming was better at defending himself? Therefore, Fan Jinja felt that he must hit the nail on the head. Fan Jinja drove into the Hai Mingwei resort in Donghai, but he did not go to meet with the group first. Instead, he was going to look for Yang Ming's car in the resort. In his opinion, Yang Ming and Zhao Ying would definitely not live with the group. They would definitely live alone. Fan Jinja felt a little uncomfortable when he thought of them living alone in a room. Damn, the woman I like is actually with someone else. And they are even living together. However, Fan Jinja didn't care anymore. This era was not the past. He didn't care whether it was original or secondhand. It was fine as long as he could get Zhao Ying. He had an extremely perverted possessiveness in his heart. It was not so strong before, but now, Yang Ming instigated Brother Zhedong to beat him up. He had reached the point where he couldn't live without revenge. Fan Jinja drove around the Hai Mingwei resort. He had already seen the school's buses, but there was no sign of Yang Ming's Audi A8 nearby. Where did this kid drive the car to? Fan Jinja was a little puzzled. He circled around the school bus and the dormitory building, but he still couldn't find any trace of Yang Ming's car. Could it be that he doesn't live in this building? Fan Jinja frowned and drove around the other buildings, but he still couldn't find Yang Ming's car. Could this guy have gone to live in a villa? Fan Jinja thought, Yang Ming seems to be quite rich, so it is possible for him to live in a villa. However, a villa is not easy to find. There are more than 30 independent villas here, and each of them is not close to each other. It would take at least 2 hours to go around. However, in order to take revenge on Yang Ming, Fan Jinja would not give up no matter how difficult it was. He drove around the resort and finally saw Yang Ming's Audi A8 at the door of an independent villa by the sea. Why is there an R8 and A6 here? Whose car is this? Fan Jinja frowned and suddenly slapped his forehead. He suddenly thought of someone. Could it be Sun Jie's? Could it be that Yang Ming wants to kill 2 birds with 1 stone? While Fan Jinja was envious, he was extremely jealous of Yang Ming in his heart. He also wanted to be in Yang Ming's position, but it was obviously impossible. It was already good enough to pursue Zhao Ying. Sun Jia shouldn't even think about it. That girl was a fox that ate people without spitting out the bones. He couldn't play with her. Chapter 1842. But this is also good. Who cares who Yang Ming is living with? As long as Chen Mengyan comes to catch him in the act, both Sun Jia and Zhao Ying can create big trouble for Yang Ming so that he won't have the heart to care about other things. Fan Jinja took out his mobile phone and took pictures of Yang Ming's car for a long time. In order to make Chen Mengyan believe him, he must leave some evidence. Otherwise, what if Chen Mengyan doesn't believe him and doesn't come to catch him in the act? After Fan Jinja finished all this, he quietly drove away in his car. He wanted to wait until night fell, then he would bring Chen Mengyan back and let Yang Ming die without a burial place. Yang Ming, this is what you get for offending me. You're dead meat. Fan Jinja's sinister laughter rang out, and he drove away. Yang Ming sat in the hall downstairs of the villa, watching TV in boredom. The TV here was a satellite channel with many movie channels. However, Yang Ming was not very interested in these. After watching for a while, he felt that it was boring, so he casually switched to the local channel. Jiangyan City's Jiangyan Group's chairman, Lu Jiangyan, was hospitalized with a sudden heart attack today. He is still in critical condition and is still in critical condition. The Jiangyan Group stock has fallen by the limit at the end of the day. A piece of news caught Yang Ming's attention. Jiangyan Group. Previously, Yang Ming had dealt with Jiangyan Group's Lu Huamei because of Jing Xiaolu's security company. However, the matter was resolved later. Sun Jie's strong appearance made the Mingyang Escort Company's name resound again. The move of paying first also received the approval of the public. Therefore, the incident that time did not bring any practical losses except for losing a large amount of money. As for the person who stole the money, Yang Ming also found his body. It was just that the money was not found. He believed that the masterminds behind the scenes were Lu Jinan and Lu Jifei. However, Yang Ming was too busy for a while, so he didn't have time to deal with them for the time being. It seemed that before he left, he should settle this matter. Otherwise, these 2 guys would think that I am easy to bully and they would feel at ease after taking a large sum of money. However, Lu Jiangyan's father had a heart attack. If he was cured, there would be no problem. If he was not cured, then the Lu family and the Jiangyan Group would be in chaos. While watching the news, footsteps came from the stairs. Yang Ming looked up and saw Sun Jia, Xiao Qing, Zhao Ying, and Zhou Jijia coming downstairs. Zhao Ying and Zhou Jijia's faces were red. Obviously, Sun Jia and Xiao Qing said something embarrassing, but. When Yang Ming asked, Zhao Ying and Zhou Jijia's faces were even redder. They looked at each other and saw the shyness on each other's faces. Although the content that Sun Jia said before was something that would happen on every girl's wedding night, it was too embarrassing for Zhao Ying and Zhou Jijia, who had never experienced it before. Although Zhao Ying was prepared, and with Sun Jie's words before, she had opened her heart and integrated into this big family headed by Sun Jie. She didn't care whether Qin Mengyan would accept her or not. With so many sisters accompanying her, what was there to be afraid of? Even if Qin Mengyan didn't accept it in the end, it didn't matter. She wasn't alone. She still had so many close sisters to solve her problems for her. Therefore, Zhao Ying's previous scruples were all gone. At this moment, she was waiting for a suitable opportunity in the evening to really be Yang Ming's bride. Before he left and before he went to perform the mission, he would have more responsibilities and more worries in his heart. In this way, he could protect himself more and know that at home, there was a woman who loved him waiting for him to return safely. Nothing. It's just a welcome to Zhao Ying, who has just joined the big family, and then popularize her with popular knowledge. Sun Jie smiled and said, "If you don't believe me, you can ask." Yang Ming naturally wouldn't expose Sun Jie. For what they had discussed before, Yang Ming also pretended not to know. Yang Ming knew these things in his heart, and there was no need to say it. So, Yang Ming pretended not to believe it. "Really, Sister Ying?" Zhao Ying nodded shyly. Although she didn't want to admit it, after all, this matter was too shameful. However, if she didn't admit it, Yang Ming would definitely ask what they said. Then, it was possible to expose the sister benefit unity plan that Sun Jie had mentioned before. When the time came, wouldn't it be betraying Sun Jie if Yang Ming knew about it? Therefore, Zhao Ying had no choice but to nod and admit it. It turned out to be like this. Yang Ming saw that Zhao Ying wasn't good at lying, but he didn't expose it. He just nodded. What did she say? "Well, Yang Ming, won't you know what I said tonight?" Sun Jie interrupted Yang Ming's question. She was afraid that Zhao Ying, this little girl, was too honest and revealed what she had said before, so she took over the conversation first. "We have unanimously voted to let Ying stay in the same room with you at night." Jie also agreed to this matter. Zhou Jie also nodded. Although she hadn't slept in the same bed with Yang Ming yet, she had already established a relationship with Yang Ming, so Zhou Jie wasn't in a hurry. Sooner or later, she would be Yang Ming's woman, and she would also live in Yang Ming's villa. What was there to be anxious about? This kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity was still given to Zhao Ying. After all, Zhao Ying and Yang Ming didn't live under the same roof, and it was usually difficult to see each other. If she missed the opportunity of this spring outing, she didn't know when the two of them would meet again. Zhao Ying's heart was also at ease if the relationship between the two of them was confirmed as soon as possible. Therefore, when everyone was thinking about Zhao Ying was so moved that she wanted to cry. This was the kind of big family that she wanted. Everyone cared about each other and cared for each other. She didn't have to worry about being schemed against and envied all day long. If Meng Yan could put aside her own face and narrow-mindedness and integrate into it, how good would that be? Zhao Ying also knew that Yang Ming was developing an entertainment business in Island X at the moment. She also knew that Yang Ming's final goal was to live in seclusion on Island X, so everyone's harmony was quite important. "Yang Ming, you accompany Zhao Ying to go out and walk around. She still has to go to the graduate school to register. No matter what, she has to show up properly in school activities. Otherwise, people will talk about it." Xiao Qing said to Yang Ming, "We have prepared some food in the villa. You can come back and eat at night. Let's go out and walk around." Yang Ming also wanted to walk around the scenic resort with Zhao Ying. Chapter 1843. The relationship between Zhao Ying and Yang Ming was intermittent. But now, Zhao Ying completely opened her heart and prepared to be with Yang Ming without hesitation. This had never happened before. Therefore, Yang Ming was also looking forward to going out with Zhao Ying. This was also the first real date between the two people. Yang Ming could see that Zhao Ying's mind was more determined than before, and she was more determined. Previously, Zhao Ying was still a little impulsive. After that, she returned to her hesitant temperament. But just now, after Sun Jie clearly welcomed Zhao Ying to join their big family, Zhao Ying became firm and determined. Zhao Ying nodded shyly. Like a little girl, she lowered her head and held the corner of her clothes tightly. She didn't dare to look at Yang Ming. Hee. Yang Ming smiled, took Zhao Ying's hand, and went out of the villa with her. Who? Looking at the backs of Yang Ming and Zhao Ying leaving, Sun Jie breathed a sigh of relief. These two people were really bumpy. They only came together now. Jie, do you have any thoughts? Sun Jie, as the big sister of several girls, naturally had to care about everyone's thoughts. No, I just think that Sister Ying must be very happy now, just like when I was lying in the arms of Yang Ming. Every time I think about it, I feel that I am the happiest person in the world. Zhou Jie said with some emotion, I hope that Sister Ying will be happy. I also hope that Sister Meng Yan can be more tolerant of her, but Jie, our matter, it's better not to tell Chen Meng Yan now. Even if we meet in the future, we need an opportunity, a suitable opportunity. This will be good for both of us. For this kind of thing, it's better late than early. Our previous plan was just to make preparations to prevent unexpected events so that we wouldn't be caught off guard. I know. You can rest assured, Sister Sun Jie. I won't say it. I also know that if I say it now, Sister Meng Yan may not be able to accept it. Zhou Jie sighed. But our thoughts are the same. We all want to be together with Yang Ming. Of course, I understand. That's good. Right, I forgot to remind Yang Ming. He must be careful. Don't bump into Chen Mengyan. Otherwise, he would be in trouble. It's his first date, and he was caught red-handed. Zhao Ying, this girl, shouldn't be scared out of her mind. Sun Jie suddenly thought of this very serious problem. No, Yang Ming is very careful and alert. He won't be so stupid to be seen by Chen Mengyan. Xiao Qing believed in Yang Ming. She had confidence in Yang Ming's skill and alertness. I hope that he won't be blinded by love, or else there will be a family tragedy. Sun Jie nodded and smiled. Yang Ming and Zhao Ying went out of the villa. Yang Ming glanced at the car. Are we driving or taking a walk? Let's take a walk. I also want to take a walk. It's boring to drive. Zhao Ying said, you first accompany me to report to the graduate student and inform the supervisor. Then, we will go to the beach for a walk. How about that? Okay, let's go. Yang Ming smiled and held Zhao Ying's hand. Zhao Ying had been held by Yang Ming before, but at this moment, her mentality was different. This was their first date. Zhao Ying still trembled. Her palms were instantly full of sweat. She was a little nervous. Yang Ming. Do you think we will bump into Chen Mengyan? That would be so embarrassing. Moreover, it is easy to expose Sister Sun Jie and the others. Zhao Ying asked a little worriedly. It's okay. It shouldn't be so coincidental, right? At this time, Meng Yan and Jiyun should be doing activities in the place where they live. Meng Yan is a student union cadre. She won't just go out and walk around, right? Yang Ming comforted Zhao Ying. Zhao Ying listened to Yang Ming's comfort. She was relieved and nodded. That's good. I was really worried that Chen Mengyan would bump into us. Last time at the temple fair, I was scared. Fortunately, I explained it clearly later. But this time, if I bump into her again, then I can't explain it clearly. Hee, how can there be such a coincidence? Yang Ming smiled and shook his head. Hand in hand with Yang Ming, they came all the way to the residence of the graduate students. There weren't many people in the resort village at this time. There were only a few scattered waves of tourists, and they were all unfamiliar people. This made Xiaoying feel a lot more at ease. In front of the residence of the graduate students, Xiaoying broke away from Yang Ming's hand. We can't do it now. We have to be careful. Even if we aren't seen by Chen Mengyan, it won't be good if others see us. You wait for me here. I will go up and register and come down. And, that's fine. Then you go. I will wait for you here. Yang Ming also felt that it was inappropriate to accompany Xiaoying up at this moment. Although graduate students didn't pay much attention to the school's art festival activities, it was hard to guarantee that someone would recognize them. It wouldn't be good if it caused unnecessary trouble. So, after Yang Ming let Xiaoying go up, he stood next to the bus downstairs and waited for Xiaoying. Xiaoying was very quick. After greeting the tutor, she signed her name, indicating that she was going for a solo activity, and left. However, in a corner, an extremely resentful and fanatical gaze was staring at Xiaoying. This person was Fan Jinjie. You wait. In a while, I will tell Chen Mengyan where you and Yang Ming were having an affair. Let's see how you will die. Fan Jinjie thought fiercely. His face was full of bruises, but he couldn't explain it to his classmates. He could only say that he accidentally got into a car accident and was bruised. Fortunately, after others heard about it, they didn't ask much. After all, there weren't many people who could distinguish between bruises and injuries. This didn't make Fan Jinjie too embarrassed. Xiaoying missed Yang Ming in her heart. Today was her first date with Yang Ming, so Xiaoying didn't want to waste time. Like a little woman who fell in love, she quickly ran downstairs and wanted to be with Yang Ming. When she came downstairs and was about to run to Yang Ming's side, something happened. It was because Yang Ming suddenly saw that not far behind Xiaoying, Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun were walking quickly toward the graduate student dormitory. Chen Mengyan obviously saw Zhao Ying's figure. She even waved at her and shouted Zhao Ying's name. However, Xiaoying only had Yang Ming in her heart now. She didn't hear Chen Mengyan calling her at all. She still ran quickly toward Yang Ming. Yang Ming was shocked. He didn't think that such a thrilling situation would happen, but life was full of accidents. The more he didn't want to happen, the more it still happened. Yang Ming wanted to say something to stop Xiaoying from running over, but he couldn't. If he spoke, Chen Mengyan would definitely hear it. At that time, not only would Xiaoying be exposed, but he would also be exposed. Chapter 1844. Therefore, Yang Ming could clearly remind Xiaoying, but he couldn't. Chen Mengyan called Xiaoying again, but Xiaoying still didn't hear it. She still ran to Yang Ming with a happy face. Yang Ming's mind turned quickly. He couldn't turn around and run away. If he ran away, Xiaoying would definitely call his name. Then, Chen Mengyan would be even worse after she heard it. Yang Ming glanced at the bottom of the bus next to him and finally made up his mind. In order not to cause Xiaoying's abnormal behavior, Yang Ming could only pretend to welcome and wait for Xiaoying to come over. He would let Xiaoying come over first. Sure enough, Xiaoying didn't find anything strange and walked over. But at the moment when Xiaoying came over, Yang Ming suddenly hugged Xiaoying's neck and pulled her to the ground with him. Then, they rolled under the bus together. Xiaoying was shocked. She looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. She didn't know what happened to Yang Ming. Why did he suddenly take her to get under the bus? She just wanted to scream and ask, but she felt that her lips were sealed. Yang Ming realized that Xiaoying wanted to scream. In a hurry, he quickly sealed Zhao Ying's mouth with his mouth. Oh. Zhao Ying didn't expect Yang Ming to be so bold. He actually pulled her under the bus to kiss her. Zhao Ying widened her eyes. Her beautiful eyes were full of shyness and joy. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun came to the postgraduate student dormitory to study the social activities. Chen Mengyan, as a cadre of the student union, naturally had to shoulder this responsibility. However, at the entrance of the postgraduate student dormitory, Chen Mengyan suddenly saw Zhao Ying coming out of the building. She was a little happy. She wanted to call Zhao Ying to participate in her activities, but after calling her twice, she found that Zhao Ying didn't hear her. She hurriedly ran between the two buses. Sister Ying didn't hear it. Chen Mengyan had some doubts. Maybe it's because the wind is strong at night, and Sister Ying has something to do, so she didn't hear it. Lin Jiyun shook her head. Let's go and see. Chen Mengyan took Lin Jiyun to the space between the two buses, but she didn't see Zhao Ying's figure. She couldn't help but wonder, where's Sister Ying? I just saw her coming over. Is it? Lin Jiyun's eyes swept across the bottom of the bus next to her and saw Zhao Ying's skirt. She hesitated and kicked Zhao Ying's skirt under the bus. Then, she said, maybe she went far. Maybe she has something urgent. Zhao Ying was scared out of her wits under the bus. When she heard Chen Mingyan's voice, she grabbed Yang Ming's hand with her hand. She no longer cared about Yang Ming kissing her. Yang Ming could feel Zhao Ying's nervousness. He gently hugged her body and patted her back twice, indicating that she shouldn't be afraid. Suddenly, Zhao Ying's whole body trembled. Because she suddenly felt that someone was kicking her. At this moment, Zhao Ying's heart was about to explode. Could it be that Chen Mengyan found me? However, Yang Ming saw it very clearly. The person who kicked Zhao Ying was Lin Jiyun. It was her shoe that kicked over. Yang Ming smiled slightly. This little girl must have found some clues, but she didn't say anything. Instead, she explained for Zhao Ying. Perhaps, Sister Lin should have noticed something, but she was afraid that Chen Mengyan would be angry, so she didn't say anything. Yang Ming patted Zhao Ying twice, indicating that she shouldn't be afraid. There would be no problem. It's also possible. Forget it. Let's go to the person in charge of the graduate student department. Let's study the social event. Although Chen Mengyan didn't see Zhao Ying, she didn't delve into it because she had business to do. The voices of the two gradually faded away. Apparently, they had entered the teaching building. Yang Ming was ready to move his mouth away from Zhao Ying's lips, but Zhao Ying seemed to be in love. In this case, there was a different kind of excitement. Zhao Ying hugged Yang Ming tightly, and her breathing was rapid. In fact, it wasn't the first time that they kissed. At the temple fair, they had already had an accidental kiss. This was the second time. Zhao Ying's heart was very nervous and excited. In the previous accidental kiss, there was no special relationship between the two, but now Zhao Ying had opened her heart completely. There was no scruples at all, so she became bold. This made Yang Ming not expect that in this environment and situation, Zhao Ying could still be so bold. After a long time, the two separated. Zhao Ying's face was red. She seemed to be shy about her previous behavior. Sister Ying, let's go quickly. After a while, when Mengyan comes out, we can't run away. Although Yang Ming also liked the feeling of two people lying under the car, if Chen Mengyan came out in a while, it wouldn't be fun. Yeah. Zhao Ying just remembered that there was still Chen Mengyan's matter. She was a little embarrassed. Then, let's go quickly. Sorry, I was a little emotional just now. Hee, it's nothing. I can't wait to be happy. Yang Ming smiled and held Zhao Ying out from under the bus. Right, who was the one who kicked me just now? Have they discovered us? Zhao Ying suddenly remembered that someone had kicked her skirt and asked quickly. It's Lin Jiyun. It's okay. She won't say anything. Yang Ming knew Lin Jiyun's temperament very well. He knew that she wouldn't complain to Qin Mengyan. Whew, that's good. I was scared to death. It was really thrilling. Zhao Ying patted her chest. Let's hurry back to the villa. Don't let Qin Mengyan see us again. Originally, the plan of two people taking a walk could only be cancelled at this moment. Zhao Ying was frightened. How would she dare to go for a walk? It wasn't a joke to be discovered by Qin Mengyan. Aren't we going to the beach? Yang Ming felt a little regretful. The first real date between the two people ended so hastily. I'm not going. Let's talk about it again in the future. I'm definitely not going today. Zhao Ying shook her head firmly. That's fine too. Yang Ming knew that Zhao Ying was frightened. If they went for a walk again, not only would it not make her happy, but she would also be worried. In that case, it was better not to go for a walk. Yang Ming took Zhao Ying and quickly left the graduate building. When they walked to the seaside villa, Yang Ming's phone rang. He picked it up and looked at it. It was a text message from Lin Jiyun. Are you and Sister Ying hiding under the bus? Let's go quickly. Sister Mengyan and I are going downstairs soon. Ha! Yang Ming looked at the text message and smiled slightly. It was Lin Jiyun who kicked you, but she also sent a text message to tell us to leave quickly. Chapter 1845. Sister Lin's heart is so kind. Zhao Ying was a little moved. It seemed that she was also a tolerant person. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. It seemed that Zhou Jijia was neutral, and Lin Jiyun was neutral. Wouldn't Qin Mengyan be alone? If she really had a conflict with Sun Jia, then she would be at a great disadvantage. Back in the villa, Sun Jia was preparing dinner with Xiao Qing and Zhou Jijia. Sun Jia called the kitchen to send the ingredients in batches. Some of the fresh ingredients that were not prepared had been sent to purchase. Now the Sea Moon Resort had been completely handed over to Tian Donghua to manage. Sun Jia, the behind-the-scenes big boss, was also a hands-off shopkeeper. Why are you back so soon? Seeing Yang Ming and Zhao Ying coming into the house, Sun Jia felt a little strange. These two people just went out for less than half an hour. How come they came back? Zhao Ying's face was red. She didn't know how to explain it. This matter was a bit awkward. If she said it out loud, Sun Jia and Xiao Qing would laugh at her. Don't mention it. When we just arrived at the graduate students' accommodation, we met Meng Yan and Sister Lin. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Sister Ying was scared to death. Then, were you discovered by them? Sun Jia was also a little surprised. She didn't expect Yang Ming and Zhao Ying to be so unlucky. They met Qin Mengyan on their first date. No, fortunately, Yang Ming discovered it in time and pulled me under a bus. Zhao Ying patted her chest with lingering fear. But almost. If Lin Jiyun didn't kick my skirt, my exposed skirt would have been discovered by Qin Mengyan. That was really a surprising moment. How was it? Was it exciting? Sun Jia was very interested in this. I heard that it is very exciting to have an affair in this situation. Did you do it? Of course, we didn't. How would Zhao Ying admit it? She shook her head and denied it directly. In that situation, you would be scared to death. Why would you have an affair? If you didn't have an affair, why are you so excited? Sun Jia smiled and didn't expose Zhao Ying. She knew that Zhao Ying cared a lot about her reputation and was embarrassed. No. I wasn't excited. Zhao Ying quickly waved her hand. I was scared, ding dong. At this moment, the villa's doorbell suddenly rang. Aw. Who is it? Zhao was shocked and her hand in a hurry. Yang Ming looked outside the door and saw a young man in his teens holding a big fat fish and pressing the doorbell. Seeing this scene, Yang Ming smiled slightly. Little Jia, I'm here to deliver the fish. Did you order the fish? And Ching Ching said that she would make fish soup for you, but there was no fresh fish in the resort. I asked Tian Donghua to send a child to catch a fish. Sun Jia said and went to open the door. For Yang Ming's special ability, although Xiao Qing was the only one who knew the specifics, Sun Jia and Zhou Jiejia also knew about it. However, they had a tacit understanding with each other, so it was not surprising that Yang Ming could know in advance that it was a fish delivery. Sun Jia opened the door, and the boy in his teens moved the fish in. He looked a little shy. Sister Sun, where do you think I should put it? It's little Sun. Sun Jia obviously knew the child and called out to Yang Ming. Yang Ming, come and help. Yang Ming originally wanted to take the fish, but when the child saw Yang Ming coming over, he was suddenly a little excited. Pang, he threw the big fat fish in his hand on the floor and stared at Yang Ming. You are Yang Ming, brother Yang. The poor big fat fish had just come out of the water not long ago, so it was not dead yet. It was thrown on the floor and jumped back and forth in pain. However, the child did not care so much and looked at Yang Ming very excitedly. I am, and you are. Yang Ming looked at the child in front of him strangely. I'm Li Xuan. Brother Yang, you don't know me, but I'm Tian Dongguang's classmate. I heard him talk about you. He really admires you and often tells me about you. He wants to be your disciple, so I'm going to be yours too. Li Xuan said excitedly. Yang Ming was speechless. He then remembered that Tian Donghua had a younger brother called Tian Dongguang, who was a martial arts fanatic. Don't listen to his nonsense. Who are you going to be his disciple? He's a martial arts fanatic. Don't learn from him. I don't want to learn martial arts. I just admire the things you did. Especially when I heard from Brother Donghua that you saved Sister Sun's family and even caught Brother Donghua's father. That's so awesome. You're like a legendary figure. Li Xuan continued to chatter. I'm working for Brother Donghua now. He often tells me about your deeds. We're all your fans. Since you're working for Donghua, then do your job well. You'll be successful in the future too. Yang Ming was speechless as he patted Li Xuan's shoulder. You're not going to school. Why are you helping out here? My family is poor, so I'm not going to school anymore. Dongguang introduced me here to help out, but Brother Donghua is pretty nice to me. Li Xuan was very satisfied with his current situation. Li Xuan picked up the fish on the floor a little embarrassedly and handed it to Yang Ming. Yang Ming took the fish and carried it into the kitchen. Li Xuan had already turned to leave. Yang Ming couldn't help but shake his head. This kid was pretty interesting. Yang Ming remembered that Qin Mingyan's deskmate was called something like Sun Lai. He couldn't remember if it was Li Xuan, but there were too many people with the same name in this world. It wasn't rare for them to have the same name. Sun Jia and Xiao Qing went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Zhou Jiejia and Zhao Ying also went to help. Yang Ming, on the other hand, didn't have anything to do, so he went to little Wang's room. Without Yang Ming's orders, little Wang didn't dare to come out of his room. He didn't dare to say anything either. When he heard Yang Ming knock, he quickly opened the door for him. Brother Yang, you're here. He was still holding his phone. Xiao ran, I'll talk later. Brother Yang's here. With that, he hung up. Clearly, he had been chatting with his girlfriend the whole time. Chatting with your girlfriend. Yang Ming didn't expect little Wang to be chatting, so he didn't want to disturb him. There's nothing to do. I'm just calling. There's nothing important. I'm just talking about some trivial things. Little Wang waved his hand indifferently. Brother Yang, are you looking for me? I don't have anything to do. Yang Ming lowered his voice. You should pay more attention when you are guarding the door at night. See if your sister-in-law Meng Yan is looking for me. If she is looking for me, you should use your phone to text me. Chapter 1846. Okay, Brother Yang, no problem. Little Wang was slightly stunned and nodded quickly. Yang Ming smiled helplessly. If Qin Mengyan didn't doubt it, it would be better. If she was suspicious and came to the door, it would be a bit bad. Little Wang obviously understood Yang Ming's difficulties, but he said with envy, Brother Yang, you don't have to worry too much. I am a little envious of you. However, I have little Ran, which is enough. Soon, Sun Jia, Xiao Qing, and Zhou Jiejie prepared dinner and called Yang Ming out to eat. Yang Ming brought Little Wang out. Little Wang was afraid that he would be a third wheel, so he wouldn't eat at the same table as Yang Ming. No matter how Yang Ming persuaded him, he shook his head and refused. In the end, Yang Ming couldn't be helped. He could only ask Zhou Jiejie to separate the dishes on the table for Little Wang so that he could go back to the room to eat. Yang Ming, what do you think of today's meal? Can you guess who made each dish? When Little Wang returned to the room, Sun Jia came over and asked with a smile. Ugh. Yang Ming looked at the table full of steaming and fragrant delicacies. He couldn't help but drool. He really couldn't guess who made the dishes. Although Yang Ming had X-ray vision that could see through everything in the world, the dishes didn't have names. Yang Ming couldn't determine who made each dish even if he had X-ray vision. I guess, this fish soup was made by Qing Qing, right? Yang Ming shamelessly picked up the spoon and tasted the fish soup on the table. And it was indeed made by Qing Qing. Sun Jia nodded and said after taking a deep breath, but it doesn't count. Because I have told you before that Qing Qing wanted to make fish soup for you. How can this be counted as you guessed it? Guess again. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. He didn't expect to be seen through by Sun Jia. He tasted the eggplant with garlic sauce on the table again. Although Yang Ming lowered his head and didn't look at the expressions of the women, he secretly paid attention to the expressions of the women with his special ability. When Yang Ming ate the eggplant with garlic sauce, Yang Ming noticed that Zhou Jiejie's expression changed slightly. She was a little expectant and a little nervous. Yang Ming smiled slightly. It seems that this dish was undoubtedly made by Zhou Jiejie. So, Yang Ming looked up and said with a smile, this eggplant with garlic sauce is really delicious, but who made it? Let me guess. Then you guess. See if you can guess it. Sun Jia didn't believe that Yang Ming could guess it, so she asked with a smile. I guess you definitely didn't do it. Yang Ming looked at Sun Jia and said. What kind of guess is this? Sun Jia said with some disdain, if you have the ability, guess who made it. Don't use the method of elimination. I'm not afraid to tell you that I really didn't make it. Well, then I will say it. Don't be too shocked. I guess this was made by Zhou Jiejie. Yang Ming said with certainty with a smile. The women looked at Yang Ming in surprise. Even Sun Jia couldn't help but widen her eyes when she heard Yang Ming's words. How did you guess? Of course, I ate it. Everyone added love in it. I tasted it. Yang Ming said seriously. You are just a blind cat. If you have the ability, guess something else. Sun Jia didn't believe in Yang Ming's so-called love theory. Okay. Yang Ming nodded and lowered his head. He looked at the spicy shredded tofu and put it in the innermost part. He pretended to taste it very carefully. Zhao Ying was slightly nervous. This spicy shredded tofu was made by her. Yang Ming praised Zhou Jiejie before. She was afraid that Yang Ming would say that the dish she made wasn't delicious. That would be too embarrassing. Just when Zhao Ying was very nervous, Yang Ming looked up and shook his head. And this spicy shredded tofu is also very delicious. It's fragrant and spicy. Not bad, not bad. I will eat another bite. Zhao Ying was overjoyed when she heard it, but everyone agreed before that she couldn't show it. So, she quickly kept a straight face and didn't let Yang Ming see any clues. Don't always say something that isn't reliable. Quickly guess who made this. It's not too late to eat it after you guess it right. Sun Jia said with a hum. Then let's guess first. Yang Ming nodded. I guess this was made by Zhao Ying, right? Ah. Zhao Ying was surprised and covered her mouth. She looked at Yang Ming in amazement. How did he guess it? Hee, it seems that I guessed right. Yang Ming said with a smile, how is it? I'm quite good, right? Not counted. Again. Sun Jia frowned. You just have to guess one more time, then you pass. Sun Jia was also puzzled. How did Yang Ming know? She had been observing Yang Ming's actions and the actions of the girls. When Yang Ming tasted the dishes made by Zhou Jiejie and Zhao Ying, their faces were full of anticipation. But when Yang Ming raised his head, they restrained themselves. Yang Ming shouldn't be able to see it. Could it be that this kid really has some special ability? As Sun Jia thought of this, she felt that it was possible. Yang Ming didn't see Li Yixuan deliver the fish, but he guessed that Li Yixuan would deliver the fish. Then, he must have some unknown means. It seemed that when Yang Ming lowered his head, he couldn't show any emotions. Otherwise, Yang Ming might notice it. But Sun Jia couldn't say anything to remind him. Let's do it again. Yang Ming lowered his head and reached for a sweet potato ball with his chopsticks. He picked one up and put it in his mouth. Sun Jia was overjoyed, but she still had no expression on her face. Because the sweet potato ball that Yang Ming was eating was made by her. As long as she didn't show any emotions, Zhao Ying, Xiao Qing, and Zhou Jiejie wouldn't have any special expressions. Yang Ming ate the sweet potato ball while secretly observing everyone's expressions. Why isn't anyone looking forward to it? Could it be that the sweet potato ball wasn't made by them, but was bought from the restaurant? That was impossible. Yang Ming frowned slightly and suddenly thought of a possibility. That was that Sun Jia might have noticed his trick, and this little vixen deliberately put on a straight face and pretended that it had nothing to do with her in order to not let him notice any clues. If that was the case, then this sweet potato ball was made by her. Yang Ming nodded secretly. It seemed that his guess was very likely. Yang Ming smiled slightly and gave a thumbs up. Not bad, not bad. This sweet potato ball is no different from the ones in the big restaurants. I think it was made by little Jia, right? Chapter 1847. Ha! Sun Jia was really speechless. How could he guess it like that? Yang Ming guessed it right. This sweet potato ball was really her masterpiece, but how did Yang Ming know? How did you know? Sun Jia widened her eyes and looked at Yang Ming inconceivably. Hee hee, of course, it was a guess. Yang Ming shrugged. Intuition. Sun Jie frowned. She didn't seem to believe Yang Ming's words, but it was no wonder. If Yang Ming guessed 1 or 2 dishes, it was possible. Even a blind cat could encounter a dead mouse, but he guessed 4 dishes in a row, which made Sun Jie suspicious. Even if Yang Ming guessed 1 or 2, there was no reason to guess 3 or 4, right? I don't believe it. Sun Jie shook her head firmly. You wait a minute. Go away first. I have something to say to the sisters. Really, why are you talking so much when you are eating? Yang Ming shrugged. Let you guess. It's us who like you. If it were other men, they would be too lazy to play this kind of game with him. Sun Jie snorted. Okay. Then you say it. Yang Ming said helplessly, then it's a deal. Guess the last dish. Otherwise, I can only look but can't eat. I might as well go back to sleep. Alright, then the last one. Can't we agree on it? Sun Jie nodded. That's fine. Yang Ming turned and walked away. He went to a place far away from the restaurant and sat down, waiting for the girls to discuss before going back. Sisters, did you find anything suspicious? Sun Jie had become the big sister of everyone. Yang Ming is a human, not a god. How can he repeatedly guess who made these dishes? If I remember correctly, Yang Ming should be in little Wang's room when we were busy cooking, right? Yeah, I also think it's a bit strange. Zhou Jie nodded and agreed. If it was just Sister Xiao Qing's fish soup, it is possible for him to guess correctly because Sister Qing said before that she would make fish soup. But the others? So, I think there is a problem. Sun Jie nodded. You may not have noticed it, but I noticed it. When Yang Ming tasted the dish, who made the dish, your faces showed a look of anticipation and nervousness. I guess this was seen by Yang Ming, so he guessed it so accurately. Sister Sun Jie, what you said is possible. Xiaoying nodded. Maybe he noticed. Did you also show a nervous and expectant look? Xiao Qing asked with some doubts. I didn't. Sun Jie shook her head. However, I think it is because I didn't, so Yang Ming will doubt me and guess that this sweet potato ball was made by me. Oh. Xiao Qing was slightly stunned, and then she guessed something, so she said, You mean, Yang Ming thinks that you are deliberately pretending to be indifferent because Xiaoying, Jie, and I didn't show anything, but you are the most suspicious. Yes, that's it. Sun Jie nodded. I also guessed so. So, I am going to test it again. In a while, I will let Yang Ming taste another dish, and we have to pretend to be indifferent. Don't be nervous, and don't expect it. Let's see what he says this time. Okay, then it's decided. The girls nodded in agreement because they were also wondering how Yang Ming guessed it. Yang Ming, you can come over. Sun Jie shouted to Yang Ming. Oh, I'm coming. Yang Ming stretched on the sofa, then stood up lazily and walked to the restaurant. Although Yang Ming was far away from the conversation between Sun Jie and the girls, he saw it clearly. Yang Ming laughed in his heart. Sun Jie, haven't you heard of a saying? Even the cunning fox can't escape the hunter's eyes. Yang Ming, you come and taste another dish. If you guess correctly, we will let you eat. Sun Jie said with a smile. It's just eating. That's not interesting. Yang Ming shook his head. I don't want to eat anymore because of you. I'm not hungry anymore. If you agree to some other conditions, I can consider making another guess. This. Yang Ming. Sun Jie put her boobs on Yang Ming's body. Good person, just guess again. At most, At most, I will do whatever you want. We will do whatever you want. Yang Ming knew that Sun Jie's method of seducing people was first class, but he still couldn't resist the temptation. That's what you said. You can do whatever I want. Of course, if you don't believe me, you can ask Qing Qing. Sun Jie gave Xiao Qing a look. Although Xiao Qing didn't want to accompany Sun Jie, she didn't believe that Yang Ming could guess who made the other dishes without warning, so she could only nod with a smile. Xiao Jie's meaning is my meaning, all right then. Yang Ming nodded. Let's guess again. As Yang Ming said, he picked up the chopsticks and put it on a fried tofu. This was a very ordinary home-cooked dish, but it wasn't very easy to cook. If the tofu was fried too long, it would be burnt. If the time was too short, there would be too much water, and it wouldn't be delicious. The sauce behind the fried tofu was also a problem. First, it was the taste of the soup. Secondly, it couldn't be cooked too long. If it was too long, the tofu would be soft. If it was too short, it wouldn't be tasty, so Yang Ming picked such a dish that was more difficult to cook and put it into his mouth. After listening to Sun Jie's words this time, the women all showed an indifferent expression. They didn't look at Yang Ming. Yang Ming had already seen through the tricks of the women, so he didn't care. He already had a countermeasure in his heart. Suddenly, Yang Ming frowned, and his face suddenly became ugly. He picked up the drink on the table and took a sip. This tofu, how is this tofu? Zhou Jie was shocked. She looked at Yang Ming and was a little overwhelmed. This fried tofu was made by herself, but she tasted it deliberately after making it. It was quite delicious. Why did Yang Ming have such an expression after eating it? It seems that it is too salty. Could it be that the salt didn't melt? When Sun Jie saw Zhou Jie's expression, she knew that it wasn't good. She finally understood Yang Ming's trick. Never mind Zhou Jie, even she was almost fooled. Chapter 1848. This pan-fried tofu was cooked by Zhou Jie. If Yang Ming felt that it wasn't delicious, her expression would definitely change. When the expression changed, Yang Ming would definitely guess that this pan-fried tofu was actually made by Zhou Jie. Now, there was no need to guess. Yang Ming probably already knew. AI. Sun Jie sighed. Zhou Jie was still inexperienced in society. She was fooled by Yang Ming. But thinking about it carefully, Zhou Jie couldn't be blamed. Yang Ming was too cunning. This tofu. Why is this tofu so delicious? Yang Ming finished his drink and gasped. The women were speechless. Why do you have such an expression when it's delicious? Why do you look like you ate too much salt? Zhou Jie also looked at Yang Ming with a bitter smile. She was scared to death just now. Jie, your tofu is too delicious. I want to eat it next time. After Yang Ming finished speaking, he looked at Zhou Jie and said with a smile. Zhou Jie's face turned red. Yang Ming's words were too ambiguous. What did he mean by, your tofu? How could this not make people's imagination run wild? Well, Yang Ming, you eat quickly. Consider that we lost to you. In a while, you can do whatever you want. However, you have to get Yingying's consent. Because we unanimously decided that you are Yingying's tonight. Sun Jie said. Yang Ming was speechless. Why am I like a commodity that can be sent back and forth? Tonight is Yingying's. Sometimes, Yang Ming found that having more women wasn't a good thing. Having more delicious food wasn't a good thing either. The two great joys of life, beautiful women and delicious food, were now in front of him. Yang Ming wanted to cry but had no tears. Every beauty kept putting their own best dishes into Yang Ming's bowl. After eating this, Yang Ming couldn't not eat that. However, everyone kept putting food into his bowl. In the end, Yang Ming really couldn't eat anymore. His eyes rolled up and he kept waving his hand. No, I don't want to eat anymore. If I eat more, I will explode. Ha! When the women saw Yang Ming's appearance, they couldn't help but laugh. As the women said, tonight, Yang Ming belonged to Zhao Ying. Zhao Ying also belonged to Yang Ming. Zhao Ying, who had no scruples in her heart, at this moment, she was still sitting on the bed in the room. She didn't dare to look at Yang Ming. She opened her heart, but it didn't mean that she wasn't shy. After all, the love between her and Yang Ming was very bumpy. If you really wanted to calculate, in fact, there was no love process. There was no true love between the wild female teacher on the internet and the world. It couldn't be considered a love relationship at all. The previous tutoring nights, that moonlit night, could only be regarded as the budding of love. It ended before it started. Therefore, Zhao Ying's heart was pounding. I'm living with him like this. Isn't it progressing too fast? However, thinking that Yang Ming was about to go to Yunnan to perform the dangerous mission, Zhao Ying was determined again. If she couldn't make up her mind now, then she didn't know how long it would take for Yang Ming to come back. So, Zhao Ying gritted her teeth, stood up, and whispered to Yang Ming, Yang Ming. I am going to take a shower, don't be in such a hurry. Let's talk first. Yang Ming guessed Zhao Ying's mind, but since the two people had accepted each other, the procedure wasn't so important. As long as the two people's hearts were tightly connected, it was fine. Zhao Ying nodded and sat down again. Yang Ming, why don't you tell me about you, Sister Sun Jie, Sister Xiaoqing, and Sister Jie? Tell me about how you guys got together. I'm a little curious. Previously, Zhao Ying also asked Sun Jie, but Sun Jie naturally wouldn't say it in detail. She just said it in a very general manner. Zhao Ying still wanted to hear the process, but Sun Jie didn't say it. Therefore, Zhao Ying was very curious and wanted to know the details. Then let's start with Sun Jie. Yang Ming nodded. In fact, the process of me and Sun Jie being together was very magical. When I first met little Jie, it was at my cousin, Yang Li's house. Little Jie was her friend. At that time, I was still a young boy who had just graduated from high school. I was still a little shy. So, Sun Jie teased me. Yang Ming talked about how Sun Jie teased him and how she made fun of him. He said that he went to the hotel to pretend to be Sun Jie's boyfriend, but they had an intimate relationship due to a strange combination of circumstances. It wasn't until later that he and Sun Jie maintained a relationship that went beyond friendship. It wasn't until he helped her family solve a big problem that Sun Jie completely opened her heart. It turns out that you and Sister Sun Jie have such a bumpy relationship. Zhao Ying was very surprised. It seems that I'm not the only one who has a story with Yang Ming. What about Sister Xiaoqing? Zhao Ying listened to Sun Jie's story and wanted to hear Xiaoqing's story. If you want to talk about me and Qing, it's actually a strange combination of circumstances. It started from the auction after I recognized Lu Weishan as my godfather. Yang Ming told Zhao Ying about going to the auction and the story between him and Xiaoqing. I have heard some of Jie's story. She took a bullet for you. As Zhao Ying said this, she suddenly sighed. I thought that the relationship between me and you was already very bumpy. It seems that Zhou Jie is even more bumpy, but now it's good. We are all together. It will be better in the future. Yang Ming comforted Zhao Ying. I hope so. Zhao Ying nodded. I only know that Zhou Jie took a bullet for you, but I'm not very clear about the things before that. Can you tell me? Hee, of course. Yang Ming nodded. Zhou Jiejia and I were junior high school classmates. However, this also started from my other girlfriend, who was also my first love, the big star Shuya. What? The big star Shuya. Zhao Wing was stunned. You mean, your first love was Shuya? And? You don't know. After Yang Ming asked, he suddenly remembered that he didn't tell Zhao Ying about this. Shuya's real name is Suya. She was my first love. Yang Ming, are you serious? The big star was your first love? Zhao Ying was surprised and opened her mouth wide. Hee, when you were in school, didn't you often ask me why my grades in junior high school were good, but my grades in senior high school were bad? Yang Ming smiled and said, among them, it involved such a story like a love triangle. Yang Ming wanted to tell Zhao Ying about the grievances between him, Zhou Jiejia, and Shuya, but the phone suddenly rang. Yang Ming took it out and glanced at the caller ID. It was actually Lin Jiyun. Chapter 1849. After Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun finished discussing tomorrow's social event with the professors and representatives in the graduate students' dormitory building, it was already past 10:00 in the evening. Many graduate students had already returned to their rooms to have fun. There were basically not many people in the lobby on the first floor. Some of them sat together and chatted in twos and threes. As for Fan Jinja, he sat in a corner. He was waiting for Chen Mengyan to appear. It was just past 10:00. Yang Ming, that brat, should be preparing to go to bed. At that time, I will bring Chen Mengyan to catch the adulterers. Let's see how Yang Ming dies. Fan Jinja had been paying attention to the elevator exit. With a ding, the elevator door opened. Fan Jinja subconsciously raised his head and looked at the elevator entrance. He had looked at the elevator entrance many times this evening. Every time the elevator door opened, he would look up. But every time, he was disappointed because Chen Mengyan had not come downstairs yet. What is this woman doing up there? Could it be that she is playing with some handsome guy? Fan Jinja speculated maliciously. If I can play with Chen Mengyan, I can also relieve the hatred in my heart. However, Yang Ming will probably kill me afterward. Forget it after thinking about it. I will just create some trouble for him first. Fan Jinja's eyes lit up because he saw Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun walking out of the elevator hand in hand. Fan Jinja quickly stood up and walked over to Chen Mengyan. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun thought that Fan Jinja was going to get into the elevator, so they did not care. However, Fan Jinja stopped in front of them. What are you doing? Chen Mengyan was stunned. She did not expect this person to suddenly stop her, so she frowned and asked in confusion. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Fan Jinja. I am a graduate student in the economics department. Fan Jinja introduced himself politely. What's the matter? Chen Mengyan looked at the polite Fan Jinja with some disgust. This guy's face is full of injuries, as if he had just been beaten up. Yet, he still pretends to be a gentleman in front of me. Is he a suitor? Of course there is something. Fan Jinja nodded and said, Can I have a word with you? If you have anything to say, say it here. I don't have much time. I have to go back. Chen Mengyan felt that this person was probably an annoying suitor. Why couldn't he say something here? Why did he have to go somewhere else? As the saying goes, don't air your dirty linen in public. If Miss Chen Mengyan wants me to say it here, then I can only say it here. Don't blame me if you make a fool of yourself. Fan Jinja said lightly. At this moment, although there weren't many people in the hall, there were still some. Since Fan Jinja stopped Chen Mengyan, almost everyone's eyes were focused on him. They wanted to see what Fan Jinja wanted to do. Chen Mengyan was a little annoyed. What do you mean by don't air your dirty linen in public? Although she didn't want to bother with him, she was afraid that he would say something disgusting. She could only say, then you can talk with me outside. That's right. Fan Jinja nodded and followed Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun to the outside of the dormitory building. Now, do you have anything to say? Asked Chen Mengyan. Of course, this is a very important matter to you. Fan Jinja said seriously, do you know Yang Ming? What do you want to say? Chen Mengyan was a little impatient, of course I know him. Basically, all the students in the school know that he is my boyfriend. Is there a problem? Hee, since you said that he is your boyfriend, why did I see him with another woman? Said Fan Jinja with a slight smile. Another woman? What do you want to say? Chen Mingyan's face sank slightly. In addition to herself, Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jijia, Yang Ming naturally had other women. The celebrity Shuya was also his woman. However, these were all secrets that could not be disclosed to the public. Therefore, Chen Mengyan subconsciously thought that Fan Jinja had discovered something and wanted to blackmail her. I don't want to say anything. Do you know Zhao Ying? Fan Jinja shrugged and asked suddenly. Sister Ying. So what if I know her? Chen Mengyan was slightly stunned. Is the person Fan Jinja is talking about Zhao Ying? Hee, I saw Yang Ming with Zhao Ying. Fan Jinja nodded seriously. How is it? You didn't expect it, right? What's wrong with that? Yang Ming and I have a good relationship with Sister Ying. So what if you saw them together? Chen Mengyan shook her head and said indifferently. Hee, is that so? But I saw them going to a hotel. Fan Jinja said, do you know where Yang Ming is now? Where? Don't talk nonsense. Chen Mengyan naturally would not believe Fan Jinja's words directly. Who knows what this guy is doing here? In this resort. Fan Jinja said confidently, Zhao Ying and Yang Ming are in this resort. How is it? Don't you know? Your boyfriend did not accompany you, but secretly came here with another woman to get a hotel. What evidence do you have? Why should I believe you? At this moment, it was impossible for Chen Mengyan not to have any doubts. After all, Fan Jinja was telling the truth, and Zhao Ying was indeed in this resort. Previously, Chen Mengyan had some doubts about why Zhao Ying was in such a hurry today. After disappearing just now, she never appeared again and never contacted her. Could it be that she was really with Yang Ming? What evidence do you have? Hee, if you follow me to catch them in the act, won't you have evidence? Fan Jinja was not afraid that Chen Mengyan would not believe him at all, because there was no need for evidence to catch them in the act. What you see with your own eyes is the evidence. Why should I follow you? Chen Mengyan was not a person who believed others so easily. This Fan Jinja was very suspicious. Sister Mengyan, let's go. Ignore him. This person is very mysterious. Don't listen to him. Lin Jiyun was anxious. She had already determined that Zhao Ying came with Yang Ming. Now that she heard Fan Jinja's words, she naturally believed him. But this matter could not be known to Chen Mengyan. If you don't have evidence, we will leave. Don't block the way. Although Chen Mengyan was suspicious, she also felt that what Lin Jiyun said made sense. How could she simply suspect Yang Ming because of a stranger's words? Yang Ming's license plate number is Song BK9999. It is an Audi A8L. I followed him all the way here. Fan Jinja was anxious when he saw that Chen Mengyan was about to leave. Do you know this license plate number? Do you know the car? Chapter 1850. I'm sorry, I really don't know. Chen Mengyan shook her head. Song BK 9999. Isn't this the car that I saw Zhao Ying get into at the school gate? Is this really Yang Ming's car? However, Chen Mengyan had never seen Yang Ming drive this car. Yang Ming's usual car was a BMW X5 with a Song B88 license plate. So, even if she had some doubts, Chen Mengyan still chose to believe in Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't like her to always doubt him, and he didn't like her being narrow-minded. So, Chen Mengyan had to try her best not to be impulsive. You don't even know this car. How about this? You call someone and check the owner of this car. I can guarantee that it is definitely Yang Ming's car. Don't go yet. Fan Jinja saw that Chen Mengyan was about to leave, so he said quickly. First of all, why should I call someone to check? Am I going to doubt my boyfriend just because of a stranger's words? Chen Mengyan said. Secondly, why are you so kind to tell me all this? What is your purpose? Are you just a kind passerby? Why don't I believe you? Okay. I'll tell the truth. I'll tell the truth. Fan Jinja really had no choice but to tell the truth. I like Zhao Ying. I'm Zhao Ying's suitor. But I saw that Zhao Ying was with Yang Ming, and they even went to a hotel. I wanted to break them up, so I told you to catch them in the act. Is that okay? Is that so? Chen Mengyan looked at Fan Jinja. Yes. That's it. Look at my injuries. Look at my face. It's all because of Yang Ming that I became like this. Along the way, I was behind Yang Ming's car. Zhao Ying was in his car. Fan Jinja said, believe me, I am telling the truth. When Chen Mengyan saw that Fan Jinja was so confident, she was at a loss for a while. Is he telling the truth? Why don't you check the license plate number? If I didn't have any enmity with Yang Ming, why would I complain to you? Do I have nothing to do? Fan Jinja was a little anxious. Then I'll call and ask. Chen Mengyan took out her mobile phone and hesitated. She didn't dial her father's phone number. If she let her father investigate a license plate number, it should be easy to get the result. However, if her father asked, Chen Mengyan couldn't explain, so she called Bao Sanli. Soon, Bao Sanli picked up the phone. Sister-in-law. What's the matter? Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's official girlfriend, so Bao Sanli naturally didn't dare to neglect. Brother Bao, I have something to ask you. Do you know where this Audi A8L, Song BK 9999, belongs to? Asked Chen Mengyan. This. Bao Sanli hesitated. He didn't know why Chen Mengyan suddenly asked about this car. Intuitively, Bao Sanli felt that it shouldn't be a good thing. However, he couldn't lie to Chen Mengyan because if he lied about this kind of thing, he would be easily exposed. Even if he didn't tell Chen Mengyan, she would have other channels to know the owner of the car, so it was better to tell the truth. If he left a bad impression on Chen Mengyan, it would not be worth it. So, he said carefully, Sister-in-law, this car belongs to our Ming Yang group. It is Brother Yang's car. After listening to Bao Sanli's words, Chen Mengyan's head suddenly buzzed. A feeling of dizziness suddenly appeared. It's really Yang Ming's car. This Fan Jinja didn't lie to me. And I saw Zhao Ying get into this car with my own eyes today. Could it be that she and Yang Ming accompanied Zhao Ying to the resort? I actually didn't know. Chen Mengyan almost fainted. Lin Jiyun was shocked and quickly supported Chen Mengyan. Sister Mengyan, don't listen to his nonsense. It's impossible. Even if it's Yang Ming's car, there must be other people. It can't only be Sister Ying's car, Sister Lin. You don't have to persuade me. I guess what he saw is true. Chen Mengyan sighed. She looked a little sad. She had already controlled her emotions and tried not to lose her composure. However, whether it is true or not, we will know when we go and see it together. Exactly. Just follow me and see. Fan Jinja nodded. Let's go. I will lead the way for you. It's so late. How can we rest assured if you bring us two girls? Lin Jiyun hesitated and tried her best to stop Chen Mengyan. Sister Mengyan, why don't we take a look tomorrow? They are in this resort. There are security guards patrolling everywhere. It's impossible for me to do anything else. You can call for help at any time. Look, there's another security patrol car passing by. Fan Jinja pointed at the security patrol car not far away and said, Sister Lin, he is right. There are security guards patrolling everywhere. There is no danger. Chen Mengyan said, let me see your student ID first. Okay. Fan Jinja nodded and took out his wallet. He took out his student ID and ID card and handed them to Chen Mengyan. Take a look. It's authentic. Chen Mengyan looked at Fan Jinja's student ID and ID card. They were not fake, so she nodded. Then, let's go. Okay. I'll lead the way. Fan Jinja was overjoyed and walked quickly in front. You just need to follow me. Lin Jiyun saw that there was no room for redemption. In desperation, she dialed Yang Ming's number with the phone in her pocket. The first speed dial set by Lin Jiyun was Yang Ming's number, so it was easy to operate blindly. After the call was dialed, Lin Jiyun deliberately said loudly, Sister Mengyan, I don't think Yang Ming is that kind of person. He can't be with Sister Ing. Either there is a misunderstanding, or he saw wrongly. Whether he saw wrongly or not, won't we know in a while. Chen Mengyan didn't mean to excuse Yang Ming, nor did she mean to blame him. She just said faintly, I don't think so. Said Lin Jiyun. You two walk faster. It's quite far. Fan Jinja waved to the two of them. Why don't I stop a security guard scooter and let him take us there? There was still a long distance to the independent villa by the sea. It would take more than 20 minutes to walk. It was better to stop a scooter and go together. Okay, then you go and stop it. Chen Mengyan nodded in agreement when she heard Fan Jinja's suggestion. This is a good suggestion. It will be safer with a security guard by the side. Although Fan Jinja's identity was confirmed and she knew that he was not a liar, there was nothing wrong with being careful. Chapter 1851. Yang Ming looked at the caller ID on the phone and was slightly stunned. Why is Lin Jiyun calling me at this time? Who is it? Xiao Ying was also shocked. She looked at Yang Ming nervously. She was so scared today that she had a heart attack. Knowing that Chen Mengyan was in this resort, Xiao Ying couldn't let go. She always felt uneasy in her heart. It's Lin Jiyun. Yang Ming didn't hide it from Xiao Ying. I'll pick it up. It may be about Mengyan. Xiao Ying nodded nervously. Hello. Yang Ming picked up the phone, but there was no sound on the other end of the phone. There was only some noisy wind. Hello. Yang Ming said hello again. Suddenly, he heard Lin Jiyun's voice on the phone. Sister Mengyan, I don't think Yang Ming is that kind of person. He can't be with Sister Ing. Either there is a misunderstanding, or he saw wrongly. Next, it was Chen Mengyan's voice. Whether he saw wrongly or not, won't we know in a while. I don't think so. Lin Jiyun's voice said. You two walk faster. It's quite far. Why don't I stop a security guard scooter and let him take us there? This time, it was a man's voice. However, when Yang Ming listened carefully, he could be sure that this person was Fan Jinja. Fan Jinja actually found Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming was shocked. He had calculated everything, but he didn't expect that Fan Jinja would actually go to Qin Mengyan to snitch. Okay, then you go and stop him. After that, it was Qin Mengyan's voice. Yang Ming was shocked when he heard that. It seemed that Qin Mengyan was really coming to kill them. Lin Jiyun's voice was very loud. She was afraid that Yang Ming couldn't hear it, so Zhao Ying, who was next to her, also heard it clearly. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She grabbed Yang Ming's arm tightly and was somewhat at a loss. Don't be afraid. Yang Ming hung up the phone and calmly comforted Zhao Ying. Well, you go to Sun Jie's room now. Don't open the door no matter who comes. Just pretend that you're not here. I'll take care of this. NN. Zhao Ying nodded desperately. Then I'll go over now. Yang Ming, you have to be careful. Don't worry about me. It won't be a problem. Yang Ming gave Zhao Ying a comforting smile. Although Zhao Ying also wanted to say a few more words to Yang Ming, time was tight. There was no time at all. Zhao Ying quickly ran out of the room and knocked on the door of Sun Jie's room next door. Ying, why are you here? Sun Jie opened the door and looked at Zhao Ying strangely. Seeing her anxious face, she was even more baffled. What's wrong with you? Sister Sun Jie, something happened. Qin Mengyan came here. What should we do? It's that Fan Jinja. Fan Jinja snitched. Zhao Ying said to Sun Jie nervously. Fan Jinja, that bastard. Sun Jie was a little annoyed when she heard it. Why is this guy so annoying? Ying, come in first. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I promise that nothing will happen. N. Zhao Ying saw that Sun Jie was still calm and not nervous at all except for scolding Fan Jinja. She was relieved. After pulling Zhao Ying into the room, Sun Jie said to Xiao Qing and Zhou Jiejie, who were a little surprised, Sisters, Qin Mengyan is here. We have to unite. If you don't want to have any problems, just listen to my command, okay? Xiao Qing and Zhou Jiejie were shocked and they heard it. But since Sun Jie had a way, they naturally nodded to show that they were willing to listen to Sun Jie. Xiao Qing didn't have as many ideas as Sun Jie. So, although she was older, she wasn't as smart as Sun Jie. Ying, you should rest and calm down first. Now there's nothing for you to do. Sun Jie said to Zhao Ying. Okay. Zhao Ying was relieved when she heard that there was nothing for her to do and sat aside. Jiejie, now Sister Ying's safety depends on you. You will be obedient, right? Sun Jie glanced at Zhou Jiejie and asked. Okay. Zhou Jiejie didn't want anything to happen to Zhao Ying, so she nodded quickly. That's fine. You go to the bathroom now and take a quick shower. Sun Jie instructed. Sister Sun Jie. I'm on my period. How do I take a shower? Zhou Jiejie was stunned. She didn't understand why Sun Jie asked her to take a shower. You don't have to really take a shower. You just have to simply wet your hair. Sun Jie was a little dumbfounded. Do you know how to pretend? Okay. Although Zhou Jiejie didn't understand what Sun Jie meant, she quickly ran into the bathroom and wet her hair. Dang dang dang. There was a knocking sound on the door of Yang Ming's room. Yang Ming was shocked. Is Qin Mengyan here? Why is she so fast? It's only been less than 5 minutes since Lin Jiyun called. Even if they came here on an electric scooter, it wouldn't be so fast, right? However, Yang Ming still walked over and opened the door, but the person at the door made Yang Ming stunned. Jiejie, why are you here? Yang Ming was stunned not only because Zhou Jiejie would appear at the door of his room, but the key problem was that Zhou Jiejie's hair was wet, and she was still wrapped in a bath towel. She seemed to have just taken a shower. Sister Sun Jia asked me to come. Zhou Jiejie whispered with a blush. Sun Jia asked you to come. After Yang Ming was stunned, he was suddenly overjoyed. He immediately guessed Sun Jia's intention. This Sun Jia is really too smart. She can even come up with this kind of idea. Yang Ming could only admire her. If Xiao Ying was caught by Qin Mengyan in her room, it would be a big problem. However, if it was Zhou Jiejie in her own room, then it wouldn't be a problem at all. Come in. Yang Ming was pleasantly surprised as he pulled Zhou Jiejie into the room and then closed the door. Yang Ming. I think it's not very good to lie to Sister Mengyan like this. After Zhou Jiejie came in, she couldn't help but sigh. But, if we don't do this, Sister Ying will be in trouble. Well, Jiejie, don't worry about it. There will always be a solution in the future. Let's talk about it after we get through this. Yang Ming comforted her. Zhou Jiejie nodded with a red face. Then, I will go to the bathroom first. Go to the bathroom. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. This is Sister Sun Jia's plan. You quickly take off your coat. Zhou Jiejie didn't have time to explain. Suddenly, there was a noise from below the villa. Zhou Jiejie couldn't continue to explain. She quickly turned and ran to the bathroom, then closed the bathroom door. Yang Ming knew that Fan Jinzhe came with Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. They should be downstairs in the villa. Chapter 1852. Didi. The phone's text message notification sounded. Yang Ming knew that it should be a reminder from Little Wang. However, Little Wang was very smart. Although he hated Fan Jinzhe, he couldn't teach Fan Jinzhe a lesson in front of Qin Mengyan. In this case, the best way was to not speak and pretend that he didn't know anything. He didn't know how Yang Ming would deal with it, so he didn't dare to speak casually. He still understood that the more he spoke, the more likely he would make a mistake. Is Yang Ming here? Qin Mengyan looked at Little Wang and asked. You are Mingyan's sister-in-law, right? Are you looking for Brother Yang? Little Wang smiled and asked. Which room is he in? Tell me quickly. Qin Mengyan didn't know what Little Wang did, but since he asked, she wouldn't be polite. He is upstairs. I don't know which room he is in. Although Qin Mengyan had never seen Little Wang knew Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. Seeing them go upstairs, Little Wang only sent a text message to Yang Ming to remind him, then he planned to delay the time. However, Qin Mengyan obviously didn't want to waste time with him. After a snort, she quickly went upstairs. Fan Jinzhe seemed to have seen through Little Wang's thoughts. He glanced at him mockingly and followed Qin Mengyan and Little Wang upstairs. He wanted to see Yang Ming's miserable appearance and see how Yang Ming was taught a lesson by Qin Mengyan. Little Wang didn't say anything and silently followed them upstairs. Qin Mengyan didn't say much. She directly took out her phone and dialed Yang Ming's number. Yang Ming's ringtone suddenly came from a room on the second floor. Qin Mengyan's face darkened. Yang Ming is really here. For a moment, Qin Mengyan's heart was extremely sour. Yang Ming actually accompanied Zhao Ying to participate in the spring outing. Did he not know that she was also participating in the spring outing? Wasn't his guts a little too big? I'll open the door. Fan Jinzhe was overjoyed when he heard Yang Ming's ringtone. He was worried that Yang Ming wouldn't turn on his phone, and Qin Mengyan wouldn't be able to find Yang Ming for a while. And if Yang Ming heard the commotion and jumped out of the window to escape, they wouldn't be able to find any evidence and would deny it. Then, Chen Mengyan wouldn't be able to do anything about it. However, since Yang Ming's cell phone rang, it was easy to handle. He couldn't wait for Chen Mengyan to knock on the door. He didn't want to give Yang Ming a chance. What if he gave Yang Ming a chance and Yang Ming was prepared? Bang! Without waiting for Chen Mengyan to answer, Fan Jinja kicked the door panel of the room. Fan Jinja used all his strength, and the villa's door panel was completely made of wood. Since it was inside the villa, there was no need for high-end anti-theft measures, so the door panel was kicked down by Fan Jinja at once. Yang Ming, come out. Look who's here. Fan Jinja shouted and pointed inside the room. Yang Ming was a little speechless about a clown like Fan Jinja. He could actually fool Chen Mengyan. Moreover, he seemed to know that Chen Mengyan would deal with him, so he wasn't afraid of provoking him at this moment. Yang Ming, why are you here? There was no anger in Chen Mengyan's voice, but it could be seen from her face that she was very angry at the moment. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed because he and Zhou Jiejia had teamed up to deceive Chen Mengyan. However, Chen Mengyan misunderstood and thought that Yang Ming was guilty. I'm here for a spring outing. What are you doing here? Chen Mengyan's heart was in pain now. Yang Ming was really here. Although Zhao Ying was not in the room, Yang Ming was shirtless at the moment, wearing only a pair of shorts. Chen Mengyan didn't believe that he was in the room by himself. Would Yang Ming have nothing better to do? Why would he drive to this resort just to sleep for a night? Yang Ming was a little ashamed of Chen Mengyan, but he could only brace himself and hold on. It was because he couldn't hurt any woman. Zhao Ying's love for him was not earlier than Chen Mengyan's. From the perspective of time, Zhao Ying and he should be the first to start. However, because of Zhao Ying's special identity at that time, the two of them didn't continue to develop. Mengyan, I'm sorry. Yang Ming lowered his head and pretended to do something wrong. In fact, he was really a little guilty. Sure enough. Yang Ming, you really disappoint me. Chen Mengyan couldn't say the words to break up with Yang Ming. She couldn't break up with Yang Ming either. Now, there was only disappointment left in her heart. Lin Jiyun looked at Yang Ming anxiously. Didn't I already remind him? How can he still admit it? Moreover, Xiaoying doesn't seem to be in this room. What else can Yang Ming admit? Mengyan, in fact, I didn't deliberately not tell you. It's just that this matter happened suddenly, and I'm also a little embarrassed. Yang Ming scratched his head. Embarrassed? What are you embarrassed about? Chen Mengyan looked at Yang Ming coldly. Where is she? Let Xiaoying come out. Chen Mengyan glanced around the room and didn't find Xiaoying's figure. It was a little strange. Where did Xiaoying go? Xiaoying. Yang Ming was stunned. He looked at Chen Mengyan with some confusion. Sister Ying. Are you looking for Sister Ying? Then who do you think I'm looking for? What are you pretending for? Chen Mengyan saw Yang Ming's shocked expression and was a little annoyed. Didn't you admit it before? Why are you going back on your words now? I'm not pretending. Yang Ming looked at Chen Mengyan strangely. Mengyan, if you are looking for Sister Ying, she's not here, not here. Chen Mengyan was going to explode. You just admitted it, and now you're changing your words. If Yang Ming admitted his mistake, Chen Mengyan wouldn't be so angry. But Yang Ming actually went back on his words after admitting his mistake. What kind of attitude is this? Chen Mengyan looked around the room. In this villa room, except for a desk, a sofa, a bedside table, and a double bed, there was no other furniture. So, at a glance, she could see that no one was hiding here. But Chen Mengyan's gaze suddenly fell on the door of the bathroom in the room. The bathroom door was closed. Chen Mengyan snorted coldly. She went straight forward, opened the bathroom door, and rushed in, awe. Entering the bathroom, Chen Mengyan saw that there was a girl hiding in the bathroom, but this girl wasn't Zhao Ying, but Zhou Jijia. At this moment, Zhou Jijia was wrapped in a bath towel. Her hair was wet. It was obvious that she had just taken a bath. When she saw Chen Mengyan, she lowered her head embarrassedly. Sister Mengyan. I'm sorry, Jijia. Why are you here? Chen Mengyan was stunned. She thought that the person in the bathroom was Zhao Ying, but she didn't expect it to be Zhou Jijia. Chapter 1853. I'm sorry, Sister Mengyan. I just want to have a romantic night with Yang Ming. Zhou Jijia explained shyly and embarrassedly, you and Sister Lin went to the spring outing. I was alone at home, so I wanted to be with Yang Ming. After that, Zhou Jijia lowered her head shyly. Chen Mengyan was a little stunned. Yang Ming came with Zhou Jijia. But I came here to catch them in the act. What would Zhou Jijia think? Now that Zhou Jijia was so scared by me, she would definitely think that I was narrow-minded and deliberately came to ruin their good thing. But in all honesty, I came to catch Zhao Ying, not Zhou Jijia. If I knew that the person in Yang Ming's room was Zhou Jijia, not only would Chen Mengyan not come, but she would also give her blessing silently. For Zhou Jijia, Chen Mengyan had already accepted her. Otherwise, she wouldn't let her live in the villa. After Zhou Jijia lived in the villa, Yang Ming had been very busy. He traveled back and forth between the country and abroad, so there was no chance to be alone with Zhou Jijia. Even if Chen Mengyan wanted to create opportunities for her, Yang Ming didn't have time. When Yang Ming was finally free, Zhou Jijia went to work on an online project with Sister Xiaoqing. Therefore, Yang Ming and Zhou Jijia had been together in name only, which made Chen Mengyan very anxious. Zhou Jijia and Yang Ming probably also realized this, so they found a day when he and Lin Jiyun went out to play. They wanted to have a romantic night with Zhou Jijia, but it was ruthlessly ruined by him. Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan's eyes couldn't help but turn red. She held Zhou Jijia's hand. Sister Jijia. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was you. I ruined your good thing. Don't blame me. I'll leave now. Chen Mengyan was very guilty. Why did I believe that Fan Jinjia's words? At first glance, that kid was not a good person. If he was a good person, would he be beaten up by Yang Ming? He probably lied about what he said. He just wanted to retaliate against Yang Ming, but he didn't dare, so he asked me to help destroy Yang Ming's good thing. Why am I so stupid to believe Fan Jinjia's words? It's okay. Zhou Jijia shook her head. It's my fault. I should have told you in advance. It's not Zhao Ying. Chen Mengyan shook her head. Previously, she directly called Zhao Ying's name was because she was annoyed. She directly called Zhao's Zhao name, but now she knew that the person in Yang Ming was not the person in Yang's room was not Zhao was nodding was not. Sister. Said. Chen. Was. Yang. Said. Sister Ying is really here. Chen Mengyan frowned slightly. It seems that what Fan Jinjia said is not unreasonable. Zhao Ying is really here. Yeah, she and Sister Sun Jia are here. Both of them are Sister Xiaoqing's students. We all came together. Zhou Jijia said what Sun Jia had already arranged for her. My mother also has shares in this resort, so Sister Sun Jia invited me and Sister Zhao Ying to play together. Sister Xiaoqing and Sister Zhao Ying have a good relationship, so we came together. They are all in the room next door. After Zhou Jijia's explanation, Chen Mengyan knew that she was overthinking. It turned out that Xiaoqing, Sun Jia, and Zhao Ying had a teacher-student relationship, so it was normal for them to be together. Zhou Jiejia came with them, but she brought along Yang Ming. Fan Jinjia probably saw Yang Ming and Zhao Ying, so he thought that Yang Ming and Zhao Ying came to get a room. In fact, Yang Ming came with a group of people. Jiejia, you guys continue. I'm leaving. I'm sorry. I will compensate you when I go home. Chen Mengyan waved to Zhou Jiejia embarrassedly. Sister Mengyan, why don't you stay? I suddenly have that. Zhou Jiejia blushed and whispered. Ah. Chen Mengyan was stunned. I just found out. Zhou Jiejia said shyly, I had calculated the date, but who knew that it would be brought forward, damn. Chen Mengyan was a little speechless, then I won't disturb you guys. You guys can hug each other and sleep. After Chen Mengyan finished speaking, she turned and walked out of the bathroom. She pointed at Fan Jinjia angrily and said to little Wang who followed upstairs, you throw this guy out. Yes. Little Wang was overjoyed when he heard that Chen Mengyan wanted him to throw Fan Jinjia out. He had wanted to do this for a long time. Although he didn't know what happened in the bathroom, Chen Mengyan definitely didn't care about it. So, little Wang showed his prowess and grabbed Fan Jinjia's collar, you bastard, go to hell. When Fan Jinjia was dragged downstairs by little Wang, Chen Mengyan was a little embarrassed and said with some blame, Yang Ming, why didn't you tell me that you brought Jiejia here? How could I stop you? Really, I'm leaving. Don't be angry about what happened just now. It's okay. It was my fault. I thought that it would be fine to come here secretly with Jiejia. I didn't want to disturb you and Jiyun. I didn't expect Fan Jinjia to hold a grudge after being beaten up by me once. Yang Ming said with a bitter smile. I'm so stupid. How could I believe that guy? Chen Mengyan shook her head and held Lin Jiyun's hand. Sister Lin, let's go. While Chen Mengyan was talking, Xiaoqing took Sun Jia and Zhao Ying out of the room. There was such a big commotion outside. It would be fake if they didn't come out to take a look. What's wrong? What happened? Xiaoqing pretended to be sleepy and asked, Isn't this Mengyan? Why are you here? Sister Xiaoqing. Chen Mengyan was a little embarrassed. Nothing. I'm leaving. Since you're here, why don't you stay for a while before leaving? Xiaoqing invited with a smile. However, Chen Mengyan was very embarrassed. How could she have the nerve to stay? She had already ruined Yang Ming and Jiejia's chance to be alone. She just wanted to leave here quickly. No, we still have things to do over there. We'll leave first. Chen Mengyan pulled Lin Jiyun and escaped downstairs. Ha! Yang Ming secretly gave a thumbs up to Sun Jia. Her trick was simply too powerful. She easily turned the situation around. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun went downstairs and saw little Wang beating Fan Jinjia at the door of the villa. Surprisingly, she didn't hate violence. Instead, she said to little Wang with hatred, beat him up. How dare this guy fool people? Yes. Little Wang nodded and fought even harder. Fan Jinjia continued to wail like a ghost and howl like a wolf. He still didn't know what he did wrong. Why did Chen Mengyan's attitude suddenly change? Chapter 1854. Chen Mengyan, your boyfriend is with another woman. Can't you see it? Why don't you care? Fan Jinjia saw Chen Mengyan coming downstairs and shouted at the top of his lungs. He was very puzzled. Why is Chen Mengyan not only not angry when she sees Yang Ming with another woman, but also has a self-blaming expression? Is Chen Mengyan stupid? Is she brainwashed? Chen Mengyan glanced at Fan Jinjia coldly. It was this guy who almost ruined my relationship with Jia. He almost ruined my image as an elder sister. I can imagine that if I was more impulsive today and kicked open the bathroom door directly, exposing Zhou Jia wrapped in a bath towel in front of everyone and in front of Fan Jinja, would Jia hate me to death? Although there is a towel on her body and the key parts are covered, it will still be very embarrassing. Zhou Jia will definitely be very uncomfortable. Even if she won't do anything to me for the sake of her reputation, she won't say anything, but there will definitely be a knot in her heart. Thinking about it, Chen Mengyan felt scared. Why did I listen to Fan Jinja's instigation? Little Wang, continue to hit him. This guy is really annoying. He is a big liar. Chen Mengyan was even angrier when she saw that Fan Jinja still did not forget to sow discord in such a situation. You are already being hit, and you still want to do something annoying. Aren't you looking for a beating? Okay. Little Wang responded and continued to hit Fan Jinja. Chen Mengyan, you are a fool. Is there water in your head? Fan Jinja was anxious. This Chen Mengyan doesn't look like a fool. When I told her about this before, she was very angry. It wasn't fake, right? Why did she suddenly change her mind after coming here? Fan Jinja couldn't figure out what he did wrong because he felt that he didn't do anything wrong at all. Step by step, in theory, everything was going according to his plan. Why did Chen Mengyan suddenly change her mind? Don't worry about my family's matters. Chen Mengyan was also angry. Why are you so free to worry about my family's matters? Are you sick in the head? You can't even manage your own matters. Why do you care about others? You are really a retard. There is something wrong with your mind. Fan Jinja scolded. However, his voice soon turned into a wail. He was punched and kicked by Lil Wang and became even more miserable. When Lil Wang saw that this guy was still yelling under his fist, he immediately became anxious. If others saw this, they would think that he was not strong enough. Brother Yang and Mingyan's sister-in-law would blame him. Therefore, Little Wang swung his arms and hit Fan Jinja with all his might. He directly hit Fan Jinja until he cried for his parents. He no longer had the energy to scold Chen Mengyan. Although the security guards patrolling nearby saw this scene, no one came forward to stop it because they all knew that Sun Jia, the chairman of the group, lived in this villa. Therefore, Sun Jia must have known about the beating at the entrance of the villa. How could the security guards dare to interfere in this matter? However, Chen Mengyan waved to them. The two patrolling security guards immediately drove the battery patrol car over. Is there anything I can help you with? The two security guards also saw that Chen Mengyan came out of Sun Jia's villa. Obviously, Sun Jia knew her, so they immediately showed respect and flattery. Can you send us to the hotel building in front? Chen Mengyan pointed to a direction in the distance and said. Okay, please get in the car, said the security guard quickly. This was just a small matter. It was just a small matter. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun got in the car and quickly left. Chen Mengyan was very guilty. Originally, Yang Ming and Zhou Jia should have had a good night, but because I listened to the words of a villain, I ruined it. It seems that I have to explain to Jia properly when I go back. Yang Ming and Zhao Ying naturally did not dare to live together because of Chen Mengyan's sudden intervention. But fortunately, they had already confirmed each other's feelings. It was considered that they had officially started dating, so they did not care about this time. Although Zhou Jia wanted to return to Sun Jia and Xiao Qing's room, Zhao Ying did not want to exchange with her. Zhou Jia had no choice but to return to Yang Ming's room. In fact, she was also very happy in her heart. During this time, she and sister Xiao Qing were busy studying the network protocol in the laboratory. There were few opportunities to be alone with Yang Ming, so Zhou Jie was also very happy to be able to live with Yang Ming. Sister Meng Yan is actually very good to me. She is also very good, and she loves you very much. We shouldn't lie to her. Zhou Jie was lying in Yang Ming's arms with some guilt. She was still a little tangled about the previous matter. Zhao Ying was in trouble, so she had to help. But while she helped Zhao Ying, she also lied to Qin Mengyan. This made Zhou Jie's heart very uncomfortable. She didn't feel much before, but now that she thought about it, she regretted it a little. In fact, I am also very guilty about this kind of thing. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and sighed. You should probably know some of the things between me, Sun Jia, and Xiao Qing, right? We have experienced a lot of things together before we finally came together, just like you and me. So, I am not willing to give up any of them, and it is impossible for them to leave me. And I understand this. I heard Sister Xiao Qing tell me about your things, and I am the same. If you want me to leave you, I might as well die. Zhou Jie nodded. So, I understand their feelings, but I just feel that Sister Meng Yan is also innocent, Meng Yan. I am sorry for her, but I think she will slowly accept this, just like how she accepted you and Jiyun. Yang Ming said helplessly. I hope so. Now, even Sister Lin is colluding with the enemy behind and tipping you off. Sister Meng Yan has become alone. It is really hard to imagine what Sister Meng Yan will do if there is a conflict between them one day. Zhou Jie shook her head. I'm afraid she won't be able to accept it, it shouldn't be. The reason why Yang Ming wasn't worried about this was that he was going to leave soon to perform a dangerous mission in Yunnan. If Qin Meng Yan knew about this, would she still have the mood to be jealous? Whether I can come back safely is already a problem. What is there to fight about? So, if there is such a day, and Qin Meng Yan knows all of this, then it will have to wait until I come back safely from Yunnan. If I can't come back, thinking about the future is purely worrying for nothing. Chapter 1855. That night, Yang Ming and Zhou Jie slept in each other's arms. They didn't speak for the entire night. However, the next day, Yang Ming didn't dare to spend too much time with Zhao Ying. Instead, he accompanied Zhou Jie to walk around the resort. During this time, they really met Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun at the seaside. For the second encounter, Yang Ming suddenly broke into a sweat. He secretly thought, what a close call. If I didn't come out with Zhou Jie this time but with Zhao Ying, then it would be useless to explain. Qin Mengyan wouldn't believe me, but fortunately, I came out with Zhou Jie. After Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun saw it, they didn't come over to disturb them. They just waved from a distance, turned around and left, leaving the space for Yang Ming and Zhou Jie. In the afternoon, Zhao Ying went back in Xiao Qing's car. She didn't dare to be in the same car as Yang Ming. Yang Ming drove Zhou Jie back first. Although this spring outing wasn't very satisfactory, Yang Ming was also very happy. First of all, he confirmed his relationship with Zhao Ying. They both knew each other's feelings. Secondly, Zhou Jie was also very happy. This was also an unforgettable night spent alone with her. After sending Zhou Jie back to the villa, Yang Ming drove to the nearby Songshan city. Previously, Guan Shuamin called and talked about Shin Yushi's treatment plan. He asked for Yang Ming's opinion. He couldn't explain it clearly on the phone, so he asked Yang Ming to go over and talk about it in detail. Regarding Shin Yushi's matter, Yang Ming had a headache. Yang Ming was very clear about Shin Yushi's thoughts. This little girl had always been interested in him. Before her leg was injured, it was very obvious. However, after her leg was injured, it was not so obvious. Yang Ming knew very well that Shin Yushi had not changed her mind. This could be seen from the way she looked at him and her shy expression. The reason why Shin Yushi did not show her love for him as obviously as before was entirely because after her leg was broken, she became inferior and felt that she was not worthy of him. Previously, although Shin Yushi thought that there was a gap between her identity and Yang Ming's, she was young and beautiful. Even if she couldn't become Yang Ming's girlfriend, she could still be his lover. But now, Shin Yushi was very clear that she had become a disabled person who could not even take care of herself. If she still had any fantasies, it was just asking for trouble. However, the more Shin Yushi acted like this, the more uneasy and helpless Yang Ming felt. Yang Ming sympathized with this girl, but he could not promise her anything. Although Yang Ming knew that if he promised her something, she would be very, very happy, he was afraid that she would be even more disappointed after having some hope. He asked little Wang to drive him to the family villa area of Songshan Medical University and stopped in front of Guan Shuamin's villa. Little Wang, I've troubled you these 2 days. You just came back from Donghai, and now you have to come to Songshan again. Yang Ming patted little Wang's shoulder. After returning to Songjiang City, little Wang did not even go home. Instead, he drove Yang Ming to Songshan again. It's nothing. Little Wang shook his head a little embarrassedly. Actually, in my heart, I really hope that Brother Yang can ask me to drive more often. This way, I will have a lot of face in front of my colleagues, hee. Yang Ming smiled. He did not expect little Wang to have such thoughts. But thinking about it, in the company, a driver who could drive for the company's top management would be looked upon favorably by his colleagues. Then you wait for me. I have something to do. If you're hungry, you can find a restaurant to eat first. It's okay. I just saw a fast food restaurant at the school gate. I'll just buy a box lunch. Although Yang Ming asked him to eat, little Wang would not do so. What if Yang Ming suddenly wanted to use the car? So, he was prepared to buy a box lunch in the car. That's fine. Up to you. Yang Ming did not say anything else. Ever since little Wang followed him, his life had improved and his family had become more harmonious. Yang Ming naturally knew that little Wang was grateful to him, so he did not say anything else. Yang Ming went up the stairs of the villa and pressed the doorbell. This time, it was a middle-aged woman who opened the door. Yang Ming vaguely heard Guan Shuamin mention that she was called Auntie Liu, and was the nanny here. Auntie Liu, I'm Yang Ming. Professor Guan asked me to come. Yang Ming introduced himself. I know, Mr. Yang. Please come in. Auntie Liu nodded, indicating that she knew Yang Ming. Yang Ming entered the villa and heard Guan Shuamin's voice from the living room. I told you no means no. Don't do those dirty things. What followed was the voice of Guan Xiaoxiang, the son who had seen Guan Shuamin the other day. Dad, how is that dirty? I started a company with a classmate to earn some money and prove my ability. I have a girlfriend now. If I don't earn money, how am I going to support my family? I'm going to graduate next year, get married and have kids. You want me to starve? Go work in a hospital after graduation. Be a staff member, the job is stable and the pay is good. Guan Shuamin said. You're not cut out for running a company. I'm not going. I'm not studying medicine, I'm studying pharmaceutical management. What can I do in a hospital? Let me be the director. Guan Xiaoxiang clearly did not want to listen to Guan Shuamin. I'll just be a staff member. I'll only earn 1,000 or 2,000 a month. How am I going to get married and have kids? Dad, you really don't know how much a can of milk powder costs, right? I'll give you some. It's barely enough. Guan Shuamin said. Barely enough. Don't think I don't know you. You're so honest. If anyone else had your medical skills, they'd already be working in a private hospital and earning big bucks. Guan Xiaoxiang was dissatisfied. I want to open a clinic with a classmate. I just want to borrow your fame. It doesn't matter if you do house calls or not. Borrow my fame. You're just a bunch of interns who haven't even gotten a license to practice medicine. You want to open a clinic. You want to use my fame to cheat people? Wait until you have the money and the ability to find a few reliable doctors. Then you can open a clinic. Now get the hell back to school and study hard. Guan Xuemin snorted. Why? If I had the money, would I need your fame? I could open my own hospital and hire a few famous doctors. Why would I need your fame? Guan Xiaoxiang was not convinced. Big Bro is still using your fame to cheat people. Why don't you care about him? He's done for. I don't want you to end up like him. Guan Xuemin snorted. No means no. You're such a stubborn old man. Chapter 1856. Guan Xiaoxiang panicked. I've already bragged to Xiaolan that I'm going to make a name for myself before I graduate. Otherwise, how can she marry me? Her father is a big shot in the area. If I don't make a name for myself, how can he marry his daughter to me? She won't marry you if you don't have money. If that's what you're saying, then there's no love between the two of you. Xuemin snorted. If she's interested in your money, then you don't have to marry her. You're such a stubborn old man. This was the second time Guan Xiaoxiang had called his father a stubborn old man, and he was indeed stubborn. What era are we in now? Can you get married without money? Do you think we're still in your era? How can you marry a beauty without a house, a car, or savings? I didn't say I wouldn't let you make money. I just don't want you to use my name to cheat others. Xuemin couldn't argue, because what Guan Xiaoxiang said was the truth. Times were changing, and so were the conditions for marriage. I'm just a poor student. How can I make money without anyone to help me? Guan Xiaoxiang panicked. Are you kidding me? You're famous, and I'm your son. Can't you lend me a little? It's not like I'm doing bad things. No matter what you say. Don't force me. I've already made up my mind. There's no room for negotiation. Xuemin snorted. If you have the ability, then go find your own connections and start your own business. If you don't, then stay in school and work at the hospital. If Xiaolan breaks up with me, I'll never forgive you for the rest of my life. Guan Xiaoxiang was so angry that his face turned white. He thought that his father would agree to such a small matter. He even patted his chest and promised his classmates that there would be no problems. But now, as soon as he opened his mouth, his father rejected him. This made him very frustrated. Suit yourself. We have a guest. Go back to your room first. Guan Xuemin glared at Guan Xiaoxiang, then stood up and nodded apologetically at Yang Ming. My apologies, Mr. Yang. My son is a disappointment. If he had 1/10 of your capabilities, I wouldn't be so angry. Guan Xuemin had already found out about Yang Ming's identity from Lu Weishan. He was the behind-the-scenes boss of the Ming Yang group. It could be said that he was a character who could call the wind and summon the rain in Songjiang City. I'm just lucky. With Godfather's help, I have today's success. Yang Ming smiled. When I started the company, I also used my godfather's reputation to open a jewelry company, so Xiao Xiang's idea is not wrong, that's different. If he has a medical qualification certificate and the funds to hire a famous doctor, then not only will I not stop him from opening a hospital, I will even help him. Guan Xuemin waved his hand. But now, he's just a student who hasn't graduated yet. He's just thinking about opening a hospital with a few of his classmates. How? Using my reputation as a shell company. Ha! Yang Ming smiled, walked over and patted Guan Xiaoxiang's shoulder. You go back to your room first. When we're free later, I'll treat you to a meal. Ah! Guan Xiaoxiang was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming to treat him to a meal. But then, he understood something. Yang Ming wouldn't treat him to a meal for no reason, and Yang Ming was a successful person. Then, he looked for him. Guan Xiaoxiang's eyes suddenly flashed with a hint of joy. Could it be that Yang Ming wants to help me? Guan Xiaoxiang's guess was not wrong. Yang Ming did want to help him. Yang Ming knew Guan Xueming's character. He asked him to help treat Shin Yushi, but if he gave him money, he wouldn't accept it. So, he was prepared to help Guan Xiaoxiang. Anyway, he was going to Yunnan soon, and he didn't know if he would be able to come back. Before he left, he wanted to help others as much as he could. This way, he would leave a way out for himself and his friends. If Guan Xiaoxiang could guess, Guan Xueming could too. Although he didn't understand why Yang Ming would help Guan Xiaoxiang, he was 80% sure that it was because of him. But this time, Guan Xueming didn't say anything. Since Yang Ming was willing to help Xiaoxiang, it was good to let Xiaoxiang learn something from him. After Guan Xiaoxiang returned to his room, Yang Ming didn't mention the matter again. Instead, he directly talked to Guan Xueming about Shin Yushi's condition. Professor Guan, Yushi's condition, now, it's like this. There are 2 treatment plans. Guan Xueming didn't beat around the bush. He went straight to the point with Yang Ming. I know a neurologist from Yanjing. He's coming to Donghai City to participate in a medical conference next week. I can invite him to perform surgery on Shin Yushi. However, I've sent him Shin Yushi's medical record. Based on his current judgment, the success rate of the surgery is about 50%. 50%. If the surgery fails, will there be any repercussions? Yang Ming knew that there would be more to it. If the surgery didn't have any repercussions, Guan Xueming wouldn't have to discuss this matter with him so seriously. You should have guessed it. Of course, there will be repercussions. Guan Xueming sighed. If the surgery succeeds, then it's fine. But if the surgery fails, Shin Yushi will probably never stand up again in this life. After Yang Ming heard Guan Xueming's words, he suddenly frowned. If that's the case, the risk is still very high. It's 50-50, yes, if it wasn't high, I wouldn't have discussed it with you. Guan Xueming nodded. I like Yushi very much. She's very cute and very kind. I've already acknowledged her as my goddaughter, so I have to treat her seriously. Oh. You've already acknowledged Yushi as your goddaughter? Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He didn't expect there to be such a change in the middle. I've already acknowledged her. I don't have a daughter. When I saw this child, I liked her, so I acknowledged her. Guan Xueming smiled and said, actually, I'm different from others. Others prefer boys over girls, but I prefer girls over boys. I actually hope to have a daughter, I see. Then, I wish you a granddaughter in the future. Yang Ming said with a smile. I don't expect anything from my eldest son. It's all up to Xiao Xiang. But this kid is so annoying. According to what he said, it's hard to say if he can get a wife. Guan Xueming shook his head. He can definitely do it. Yang Ming said, you don't have to worry about this. Since you've already acknowledged Yushi as your goddaughter, then our relationship is one step closer. I won't say anything about being an outsider. Leave Xiao Xiang to me. At least before I leave, I can nurture him. Chapter 1857. Leave. Where are you going? Guan Xuemin was slightly stunned. To Yunnan. Yang Ming smiled and said, there are some things that I don't have to hide from you. I belong to a special personnel in a certain department. I have to perform a special task, but this time, I may not be able to come back after I go, so I have to explain everything before I leave. Yang Ming didn't want to hide it from Guan Xuemin. Guan Xuemin was a famous scholar and wouldn't casually reveal his own affairs, so Yang Ming told him about his own affairs. In fact, Yang Ming would have to tell Guan Xuemin about these things sooner or later because he would be leaving soon. When that time came, Guan Xuemin would definitely not be able to contact him. So, Yang Ming was afraid that Guan Xuemin would stop the treatment of Shen Yushi. On the way here, he was prepared to have a showdown with Guan Xuemin. But he didn't expect that Guan Xuemin would accept Shen Yushi as his goddaughter. This was something that Yang Ming didn't expect. This way, even if he wasn't around, Guan Xuemin wouldn't stop the treatment of Shen Yushi. Before he left, he gave Guan Xiaoxiang a hand up to express his gratitude to Guan Xuemin. So that's your real identity. Guan Xuemin looked at Yang Ming with some shock. He was no stranger to some of the mysterious departments. Some of the aristocratic families that he had a good relationship with had people serving in special mysterious departments, but he didn't expect Yang Ming to be one of them. This time, I was prepared to have a showdown, but I didn't expect you to accept Shen Yushi as your goddaughter. It seems that I was overthinking. Yang Ming smiled. I was wondering why you wanted to help Xiao Xiang for no reason. So it was because of this. Guan Xuemin said, but don't worry, even if you don't care about Xiao Xiang, I will do my best to treat Yushi. Actually, I still have a good impression of Xiao Xiang. I feel that his nature is good, and he also has a spirit of adventure. He should be able to achieve something in the future. Besides, helping him is just a small matter. Yang Ming waved his hand dismissively. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's continue talking about Yushi. This is the first treatment plan, but it's risky. Xuemin said, the second treatment plan is conservative treatment. I'll give her acupuncture every day, but it shouldn't have any effect. It can only prevent the muscles in her legs from shrinking, but it won't help her stand up again. Then is the second method also equivalent to not being able to stand up for the rest of your life? Yang Ming frowned. If the second method was like this, then he might as well take the risk and use the first method. Not necessarily. Maybe a miracle will happen, Guan Xuemin said. Or maybe, we'll wait for a master to appear. Master? Is there anyone better than the expert you're talking about? Yang Ming was slightly stunned and asked. Yes, of course. Xuemin said, he's a legend. His name is Lin Dongfang, and he's a miraculous doctor. I once received some pointers from him. With just a few words, I was enlightened and became a famous Chinese medicine practitioner. Think about how great he is. Yang Ming was shocked by Xuemin's words. How could there be such a great person? It's not an exaggeration to say that he can defy the heavens and change fate. He's really a miracle. Xuemin exclaimed. Then this miraculous Dr. Lin. Yang Ming hesitated for a moment and asked. Although Yang Ming guessed that this miraculous Dr. Lin might have lived in seclusion, he still didn't want to give up. Disappeared. Without any warning. Xuemin shook his head. Suddenly, he thought of something and said to Yang Ming, oh right, where did you say you were going? I'm going to Yunnan. What's wrong? Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He didn't understand why Xuemin suddenly changed the topic from miraculous Dr. Lin to him. Yunnan. Yunnan. Yes. Xuemin said, before Mr. Lin disappeared, he had been studying the voodoo of Yunnan's Miaojiang. He had a deep understanding of bacteriology. At that time, your godfather, Lu Weishan's son, Lu Tianqi, also knew Mr. Lin. The two of them often discussed bacteriology together. They studied the voodoo of Miaojiang as a kind of bacteriology. Lu Tianqi, godfather's son. Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect his godfather's son, his elder brother, to know Lin Dongfang. So, what I suspect is that they went to Yunnan's Miaojiang village to study voodoo. Xuemin frowned. Apparently, he was carefully recalling the scene. At that time, I heard that someone from Miaojiang village came to invite them. I don't know if they went there and then encountered some danger. Yunnan's Miaojiang village. Lu Tianqi. Yang Ming suddenly stood up. He thought of a very important matter. Lan Ling once looked at Lu Weishan's photo at Lu Tianqi's house and said that she seemed to have seen him somewhere. Could it be that Lu Tianqi and Lin Dongfang really went to Yunnan's Miaojiang village? When Lan Ling said that, although Yang Ming was puzzled, he didn't take it to heart. He thought that she remembered wrongly. But now, with Xuemin's words, what Lan Ling said should be the truth. What's wrong? What did you think of? Xuemin was shocked by Yang Ming's action. Nothing. Yang Ming sat down with a bitter smile and shook his head. I just suddenly remembered that a friend of mine from Yunnan's Miaojiang village said that he had seen Lu Tianqi there. Are they really there? That's great. Xuemin listened to Yang Ming's words and was delighted. I asked you about going to Yunnan because I wanted you to inquire about miracle Dr. Lin Dongfang and see if he appeared there. As long as we find Lin Dongfang, there is hope for Shen Yushi's leg to be cured? Yang Ming asked with some excitement. 100%. Xuemin nodded and said with certainty, this little injury is nothing for miracle Dr. Lin Dongfang. Well, this time I have tried my best to inquire about him. Even if I can't come back, I will definitely pass the news to you. Yang Ming nodded and said solemnly. That's great. Xuemin was overjoyed. My biggest wish in this life is to see Mr. Lin in my lifetime. Even if I can't learn anything, I want to personally thank him for teaching me so many things. It's just that I can't even be considered as his registered disciple. Don't judge too early. If I see him, I will definitely ask him to accept you as his disciple. Yang Ming smiled and said, Right, where is Yushi? He's asleep in the room upstairs. I'll take you to see him. Guan Xuemin nodded, stood up, and went upstairs with Yang Ming. Chapter 1858. Shen Yushi was looking up some economic management forum information in front of the computer at the desk. However, she fell asleep as soon as she felt sleepy. She was sleeping soundly at the moment. When she heard someone knocking on the door, she thought it was Mother Lu calling her for dinner. Therefore, she sat in the wheelchair and opened the door. She did not pay much attention to her image. Yushi, Yang Ming is here, Guan Xuemin said to Shen Yushi with a smile. Ah! Shen Yushi screamed. She deliberately maintained her most beautiful side in front of Yang Ming every time. Even if her leg was broken, Shen Yushi would dress herself up beautifully. However, when she was with Guan Xuemin, Shen Yushi did not pay much attention to her image. After all, there was no one here to look at her. Shen Yushi seized all the time to study and study. However, she did not expect Yang Ming to suddenly come. This made Shen Yushi, who always wanted to leave a good impression on Yang Ming, feel a little embarrassed. She hurriedly closed the door and said, wait a minute. Let me change my clothes. Shen Yushi was wearing pajamas, which were very formal. However, in order to find an excuse to close the door, Shen Yushi could only say that she wanted to change her clothes. Hee hee. Yang Ming smiled slightly and said, you don't have to change. Why are you so formal? I'm just going to take a look. Don't trouble yourself. If that's the case, then I'll leave first. Don't. Shin Yushi quickly opened the door of the room again. She missed Yang Ming so much during this time. She dreamed of seeing him every day. Now that Yang Ming was here, he wanted to leave. How could she let him leave just like that? Your current image is like a confused girl in a manga. It's quite cute. Yang Ming knew what Shin Yushi was thinking, so he comforted her. When Shin Yushi heard Yang Ming's words, her face turned red. She knew that Yang Ming had seen through her thoughts. She suddenly felt a little embarrassed. She also knew that it was impossible for her and Yang Ming to be together. However, she still hoped that Yang Ming would look at her a few more times. Even if he had a little favorable impression of her, Shin Yushi would be satisfied. Shin Yushi knew that her mentality was not desirable, but she still hoped that she could stand up one day and walk side by side with Yang Ming outside. Even if it was just a walk, she would be very happy. Therefore, this was the only reason why she wanted to stand up. Every day, Shin Yushi actively cooperated with Guan Shuamin because of this thought. Yushi, how do you feel? You seem to have put on some weight. Looks like you're in a good mood after acknowledging Professor Guan as your godfather. Yang Ming joked. No way. Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed. Girls always didn't like others to call them fat. I'm not that fat, hee, you look better with some weight. A while ago, you were so thin that you didn't even look like you anymore. Now, you look much prettier. Yang Ming smiled and said, I was stunned by you just now. Although Shin Yushi was very beautiful, Yang Ming would not praise her like this. Yang Ming was surrounded by beautiful women, so he had a certain immunity to beautiful women. He said this to give Shin Yushi some confidence. Yang Ming was very clear about Shin Yushi's thoughts. He didn't know how long he would be gone for when he went to Yunnan. Therefore, Yang Ming was afraid that during the time he was gone, Shin Yushi would give up on herself and lose confidence in life. If that happened, it would be difficult to deal with her condition. After all, a normal person sitting in a wheelchair for a long time would also have some bad thoughts. Now, Yang Ming hoped that Shin Yushi could maintain her confidence and hope. Maybe he could find Lin Dongfang in Yunnan. Then, he could ask him to come back and treat Shin Yushi. As long as Shin Yushi insisted on doing some leg massages and training every day to prevent the leg muscles from atrophying, it would be fine. However, this was a long-term mission. Yang Ming was afraid that Shin Yushi would not be able to persevere. Therefore, this time, Yang Ming was going all out. Anyway, his future was uncertain. Before he died, Yang Ming was very happy to be able to do something for the people around him. Professor Guan, I have something to say to Yushi alone. You see. Yang Ming turned his head and looked at Guan Shuamin. No problem. You guys talk. I'll tell Aunt Lu to prepare dinner and take a look at Xiao Xiang. Guan Shuamin said, nodded and went downstairs. Yang Ming pushed Shin Yushi's wheelchair into the room and closed the door. Shin Yushi was a little nervous. She didn't know why Yang Ming suddenly wanted to talk to her. Was it a good thing or a bad thing? Is my condition getting worse? Will I not be able to stand up in the future? For a moment, Shin Yushi was a little worried. After all, she had always dreamed of being able to stand up one day. Shin Yushi thought, what did Yang Ming want to say to me behind Guan Shuamin's back? He deliberately asked Guan Shuamin to leave first before talking to me. Could it be that he wants to talk about me and him? Did he see through my thoughts and was preparing to reject me and not let me fantasize? When Shin Yushi thought of this, she felt weak all over. She was very nervous. She was so nervous that she couldn't speak clearly. You. Why are you looking for me? Looking at Shin Yushi's nervous expression, Yang Ming also became a little nervous. When Shin Yushi saw Yang Ming's nervous expression, she became even more nervous. Could it be that my guess was not wrong? Yushi. There is something that I have to tell you. Yang Ming's expression suddenly became serious, which made Shin Yushi's heart tremble. However, Shin Yushi adjusted her emotions and looked at Yang Ming with a forced smile. What is it? You have to be mentally prepared. Yang Ming reminded her. Shin Yushi was about to cry. The more Yang Ming said this, the more scared she was. Could it be that my guess was going to come true? Yushi, actually. I had a good impression of you not long after I saw you. Yang Ming was ready to risk it all anyway. However, he wasn't lying to Shin Yushi. Shin Yushi was very beautiful. It was impossible for him not to have any feelings for her. Shin Yushi couldn't react for a while. She only felt that there was a short circuit in her brain. She stared at Yang Ming with her eyes wide open. She was at a loss. Did I scare you? Yang Ming had prepared so much to give Shin Yushi a shock. Otherwise, if he said it directly, Shin Yushi wouldn't believe it easily. However, Yang Ming had prepared so much, so it was more believable. However, this good impression is limited to me coveting your beauty and wanting to take you for myself. In fact, I am a very overbearing man. I have always been like this. Shin Yushi had just recovered from the shock. She couldn't help but be surprised and happy. She never thought that Yang Ming would have a good impression of her and like her. However, Yang Ming suddenly confessed to her. Chapter 1859. Shin Yushi didn't know what to do. Although Yang Ming said that this favorable impression was just because he coveted her beauty, Shin Yushi was still very happy. This showed that Yang Ming at least had feelings for her. That was enough. No. Shin Yushi shook her head. Yang Ming, you said that you really had feelings for me. And, not only before. In fact, I have always had this thought for you after that. It was just that your leg was broken, so I was embarrassed to mention this matter again. Yang Ming said, in fact, when you were in the nightclub before, I was the one who spread the rumor that you were my lover. I was going to take that opportunity to make the act real, but who would have thought that there would be such an accident? Yang Ming wanted Shin Yushi to cheer up and not give up, so he couldn't care so much. He took almost all the responsibility in order to make Shin Yushi believe him. Shin Yushi was stunned. Wasn't the rumor spread because of my silence? Could it be that Yang Ming also added fuel to the fire in the middle? However, when I opened the door just now, I saw your flirtatious expression when you just woke up. I really couldn't help it and wanted to confess to you. Yushi, do you accept? Yang Ming said affectionately. I. Shin Yushi said the word I 3 times. She was so excited that she couldn't speak. Shin Yushi never thought that Yang Ming would have feelings for her. If she had known earlier, she would have been together with Yang Ming long ago. She wouldn't have to suffer so much. However, now that her leg was broken, she wasn't worthy of Yang Ming. It would be embarrassing to be his lover, so Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed for a while. Although Yang Ming's words made her feel moved, she reminded herself in her heart that now was not the same as before. Don't hold on to those unrealistic fantasies. Yushi, if you don't speak, I'll take it that you accept it. Yang Ming pretended to be happy and carried Shin Yushi up. The blanket covering Shin Yushi's legs suddenly fell to the ground. Shin Yushi only wore a pair of underwear on her lower body. Because of the problem with her legs, Guan Shuamin had to come to her regularly for acupuncture. Moreover, she also had to do massages frequently. Therefore, it was very inconvenient to wear pajamas. Therefore, Shin Yushi usually covered her legs with a blanket. Anyway, Guan Xuemin was a doctor, and she had recognized him as her godfather. Shin Yushi was still able to let go. But now that Yang Ming was carrying her, Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed. My blanket, hee, everything has been said. Yushi, what are you still embarrassed about? Yang Ming carried Shin Yushi to the bed and said with a smile. Shin Yushi was a little nervous. Is Yang Ming going to hug me now and do that? But, wasn't this too fast? Although Shin Yushi did not reject it, this was Guan Xuemin's house. Moreover, my legs are broken. I can't cooperate well with Yang Ming. Will there be a problem? Shin Yushi's thoughts were running wild. Yang Ming picked up the blanket on the ground and covered Shin Yushi's legs. Don't catch a cold. Shin Yushi's face was slightly red. She understood that she was thinking too much. Yang Ming did not mean that at the moment, so she nodded embarrassedly. Okay, I finally said the words in my heart. I can leave in peace. Yang Ming said with a sigh. Leave? Where are you going? Shin Yushi was slightly stunned. She was thinking about how to be intimate with Yang Ming in a while, but Yang Ming suddenly wanted to leave. Shin Yushi's heart tightened and asked quickly. I'm going to carry out a special mission. Yang Ming smiled. Now that you are my girlfriend, I won't hide it from you. Ah. When Shin Yushi heard Yang Ming call her his girlfriend, she was so happy that she almost screamed out loud. My dream has actually come true just like that. It can't be, right? Am I dreaming now? Yes, I must be in a daze. I was looking at the information on the computer just now. Unknowingly, I don't know anything. I must be dreaming now. Yushi, what's with your expression? Yang Ming saw Shin Yushi's expression and asked curiously. This is a dream. I'm afraid of waking up. Shin Yushi whispered. How is this a dream? Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How would a dreamer know that they are dreaming? Those who suspect that they are dreaming are usually awake. If you don't believe me, pinch yourself. I heard that you can't feel pain in your dreams. Oh. Shin Yushi subconsciously pinched her leg. It doesn't hurt. It's over. It must be a dream. Yang Ming was a little speechless. If you could feel something in your leg, wouldn't you be able to stand up? Ah. Yes. Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed. She was so flustered that she didn't consider that she couldn't feel anything in her leg. Now that she was reminded by Yang Ming, she quickly changed her position and pinched it. It was really painful. It wasn't a dream. How is it? Are you dreaming? Yang Ming said with a smile. So, you really like me? Shin Yushi asked in surprise. In the past, it was just the kind of coveting when a man sees a beautiful woman. However, after this period of contact, I really like you. Yang Ming said, especially your indomitable spirit of fighting against the disease. That's what attracted me the most. Yang Ming was always looking for opportunities to hint to Shin Yushi not to give up. Sure enough, Shin Yushi was delighted. Really? Then I will persevere until the end. I will stand up. At that time, will you still like me? Of course. Yang Ming nodded. But, I heard from Godfather that it might take a long time. Will you be tired of it? Shin Yushi asked with some concern. Previously, she was already satisfied when she imagined that Yang Ming would be good to her or accompany her often. However, now that Yang Ming had expressed his love for her, Shin Yushi had more extravagant hopes. Once she got it, she didn't want to lose it again. The thing I want to tell you is also about this. Yang Ming smiled. I have to go out too. It will be a long time. Is it the special mission that you just mentioned? Shin Yushi also reacted. Yang Ming just told her about the special mission. What is going on? Things are like this. In fact, my real identity belongs to a mysterious department. This department specializes in performing some dangerous and confidential missions. Yang Ming said, as for the content of the mission, I can't say it. However, this mission is very complicated. It will take a long time. It may be a few months, or it may be a few years. Chapter 1860. Ah. So long. Shin Yushi listened to Yang Ming's words and looked at him with some surprise. This is considered fast. If it is slow, it doesn't necessarily take long. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. So, in order to prevent you from accepting other people's pursuit after you recover, I said it before I left. Of course, this was just an excuse for Yang Ming. Yang Ming was very clear about Shin Yushi's situation. Guan Shuamin had already said that no one could make Shin Yushi stand up except for Lin Dongfang. There was no miracle. Even Yang Ming himself couldn't do anything. Otherwise, Guan Shuamin wouldn't just say that he would try his best to maintain it. No. Shin Yushi's face suddenly turned red. She liked Yang Ming in her heart. It was just that happiness came too quickly for her to accept. Of course, Shin Yushi didn't think about whether Yang Ming's sudden confession had other factors. However, Yang Ming also explained that he had to go out to perform a mission. It would take at least a few months and at most a few years. So, it was normal for Yang Ming to suddenly confess at this time. However, Yang Ming's question was a bit redundant. Even if Yang Ming didn't confess, Shin Yushi wouldn't like others. During this time, Yang Ming's shadow had been imprinted in her mind. Shin Yushi couldn't forget it for the rest of her life. Especially after her leg was broken, Yang Ming was willing to go to great lengths for her. This made Shin Yushi very moved. Her previous admiration for Yang Ming might be due to the impulse to be a hero saving a damsel in distress. It might also be due to the greed for Yang Ming's money. But now, she really liked Yang Ming. This was a man who could make a girl's heart move. So, Shin Yushi flatly denied Yang Ming's guess. I will wait for you to come back. I am relieved when you say so. Do you want to stamp it first? Yang Ming asked with a smile. What stamp? Shin Yushi was stunned. Just a kiss, Yang Ming said. No, don't. Shin Yushi was a little embarrassed. Although this was what she had been looking forward to, Shin Yushi was embarrassed when Yang Ming mentioned it. After all, she was a girl, and they were in someone else's house. How could she dare to let Yang Ming kiss her? Then I'll owe you first. I'll collect the interest when I come back. Yang Ming didn't really want to kiss Shin Yushi. He just wanted to give her an illusion of reality so that she would believe it. Shin Yushi nodded with a red face. Then, you should stay at home and recuperate. It would be best if you could stand up and welcome me when I come back. Yang Ming encouraged Shin Yushi. Yes. I will definitely. Shin Yushi's heart was now full of hope. She seemed to see Yang Ming holding her hand and strolling around the neighborhood after she stood up. What a beautiful life that would be. I'm going to Yunnan. Do you have any gifts that you want? Asked Yang Ming. No need. I'm very happy that you came back safely. Shin Yushi naturally wouldn't ask for anything. Then, I'll see what I want, said Yang Ming. In fact, Yang Ming didn't say what he wanted to say in his heart. That was, finding Lin Dongfang was the best gift for Shin Yushi. It was just that Lin Dongfang's whereabouts were uncertain. There had been no news of him for many years. Moreover, he was going to perform a mission. Whether he had time to find Lin Dongfang was still a problem. Shin Yushi nodded. When I get there, I may have to turn off my phone. There may not be any news for a while. Don't be nervous. It's okay. Yang Ming gave Shin Yushi a heads up in advance. What if this girl couldn't find him and gave up on herself again? I know. Just focus on your work. Don't worry about me. Shin Yushi nodded and said obediently. I'm at home. If there's anything. Oh, just call Brother Bao. I'll give him a call now. Yang Ming hesitated and said. Although Guan Shuamin was also a very famous figure in Songshan City, he wasn't as good as Bao Sanli in some aspects, so Yang Ming still had to explain to Bao Sanli. It's okay. Brother Bao is very good to me. Shin Yushi was even more embarrassed. Oh, I have to let him know. Yang Ming said as he took out his phone and dialed Bao Sanli's number. Brother Yang. Bao Sanli quickly picked up the phone. Even though Yang Ming was about to leave, Bao Sanli still respected Yang Ming. This respect came from the unequal and unattainable respect. Yang Ming was a god to him, so Bao Sanli wouldn't have any thoughts of resistance in his life. He only wanted to do his best to follow Yang Ming. Baozi, what are you doing? Asked Yang Ming. I'm in the company. Brother Yang, I have something to report to you, said Bao Sanli. I was just about to call you. The matter is like this. There's a problem with the Liu family. Liu Huamei is under house arrest. They called us to ask for help to control the situation. I haven't agreed yet. I want to ask for Brother Yang's opinion. Oh. Isn't the old man Liu Jiangyan still alive? Why are the people in his family a little impatient? Yang Ming was slightly stunned. The people in the Liu family couldn't hold back when they just saw the news of Liu Jiangyan being critically ill and hospitalized on TV. He's not dead, but it's probably close. So his descendants are beginning to get restless, said Bao Sanli. Liu Huamei promised that if we help her, she will give us 20% of the shares after it's done. Oh, this kind of empty promise is nothing. Yang Ming smiled. She also said that it's only after it's done. But is it really that easy to do it? Her situation now is very unfavorable. Even if we help her, we may not be able to get her into the Jiangyan group. Once she fails, our help in the early stages will become worthless. She won't give us any reward. That's true. This is why I didn't promise her immediately. Sister-in-law Xiaolu is looking for someone to do a risk assessment to see if it's worth it, said Bao Sanli. It's fine to study it first. It's not too late to talk about it after I return to Songjiang. The later we take action, the easier it is to see the situation clearly. Yang Ming said, wait until Liu Huamei has used up all her trump cards and fought with her cousins. Then, we'll take action according to the situation. Alright, then I'll wait for you to come back, Brother Yang. It's good to wait and see about the Liu family's matter. When Liu Huamei is anxious and has no trump cards left, she can give us the biggest benefits. Bao Sanli nodded. But what if Liu Zhenan or Liu Zhiqiao find us to cooperate? Chapter 1861. Let them get lost, said Yang Ming faintly. Yang Ming naturally didn't have a good impression of Liu Zhenan and Liu Zhiqiao. Liu Zhenan and Liu Jifei were together, and they were scheming against Jing Xiaolu. Yang Ming naturally wouldn't let them go. As for Liu Zhiqiao, Yang Ming didn't know him at all. What cooperation? Understood, Brother Yang. Bao Sanli nodded and said, right, Brother Yang, why are you looking for me? When I was talking about the Liu family, I almost forgot that you were the one who called me. It's like this. Aren't I going to perform a mission in a while? I'll leave Yushi's side to you, said Yang Ming. Oh. Bao Sanli was obviously stunned. Shin Yushi. I'm at her place. Yang Ming said, help me to visit her regularly and take care of her. Brother Yang, are you at Songshan? Bao Sanli naturally knew that Shin Yushi was being treated at Guan Xuemin's place, but it was strange. Why did Yang Ming suddenly go there to see Shin Yushi and talk to him in such a tone? Could it be that he and Shin Yushi, I'm at Professor Guan's house? Yang Ming said, Yushi. When you call her in the future, change the way you address her. I understand. Bao Sanli would be a fool if he still didn't understand Yang Ming's words. He quickly promised, don't worry, Brother Yang. Leave sister-in-law Yushi's matter to me. Ha! Yang Ming smiled. Bao Sanli's voice was very loud, so his words were clearly heard by Shin Yushi who was beside him. She lowered her head shyly. After the call, Yang Ming said to Shin Yushi, then I'll go first. You take care of yourself. Yes. Shin Yushi did not have the thought of giving up on herself. Previously, she also planned to work hard to treat her illness and then work in Yang Ming's company. Now, she had no intention of giving up on herself. She wanted to cherish herself and wait for Yang Ming to come back. After closing the door to Shin Yushi's room, Yang Ming sighed slightly. He had comforted Shin Yushi for the time being. It could be said that he had resolved one of his worries. Guan Xuemin was waiting near the stairs. When he saw Yang Ming come out, he nodded at him. How was it, Mr. Yang? There should be no problem. Before I come back, there won't be any thoughts of giving up. Yang Ming said with a smile. That's good. Patients are not afraid of being sick, but they are most afraid of not having confidence. Guan Xuemin nodded. There is no problem in maintaining Shin Yushi's condition, but I am afraid that she has no confidence in herself. That is the scariest thing. Yang Ming also nodded in agreement. Right, how is Xiao Xiang? I persuaded him, but he was a little upset. He said that he lost face in front of his classmates, and his girlfriend would look down on him. Guan Xuemin shook his head helplessly. This kid, I think he is still immature. Young people. There are always times when they are impulsive. Speaking of this, Yang Ming was a little fascinated. Didn't I also act impulsively? However, the impulsive times were very far away from me. Unknowingly, Yang Ming had surpassed the mental age of his peers. He felt that he had experienced a lot of vicissitudes. That's true. However, Mr. Yang can't see anything. Guan Xuemin laughed. Professor Guan, since you are Yushi's godfather, then I will call you uncle. You can also call me Yang Ming or Big Ming. Don't call me Mr. Yang. It sounds awkward, said Yang Ming. Okay, then I will call you Yang Ming. Guan Xuemin nodded. You don't look as old as Xiao Xiang. Yeah, actually I am only in my first year. Yang Ming shrugged. But I feel like I am already far away from the lives of people my age. Yeah, I think so too. Guan Xuemin laughed. Xiao Xiang is probably worried, right? He has been waiting for you in his room. Hee, I will go over now. Yang Ming nodded and went downstairs with Guan Xuemin. When they arrived at Guan Xiaoxiang's door, Yang Ming knocked. Guan Xiaoxiang quickly opened the door, but he felt that he was a little impulsive. He was afraid that Yang Ming would think that he was an unreliable person. He scratched his head awkwardly. Mr. Yang, I was a little impatient, in a hurry to eat. Yang Ming teased. Yeah. Guan Xiaoxiang nodded gratefully when he saw that Yang Ming didn't see through him. Let's go then. I am hungry anyway. Yang Ming said and gave Guan Xiaomin a look. He then led Guan Xiaoxiang out the door. At 8L. Guan Xiaoxiang was stunned when he saw Yang Ming's car at the door. The last time he saw Yang Ming, he remembered that Yang Ming drove a BMW X5. Yang Ming was already this rich. Although he had guessed that Yang Ming was very rich from his father's conversation with Yang Ming, he didn't think that Yang Ming was already this rich. He could afford a good car with a small business. But if he had 2 good cars, then he wouldn't be a small business owner. At the very least, when the business reached a certain scale and had a lot of spare cash, he would buy one. Get in the car. Yang Ming said with a smile. Little Wang saw Yang Ming come out of Guan Xiaomin's house and quickly got out of the driver's seat to open the door for Yang Ming. Guan Xiaoxiang was even more shocked. Yang Ming had a chauffeur. Mr. Yang. Guan Xiaoxiang hesitated and asked, "Is your business big?" "It's not that big. You don't have to call me Mr. Yang. Just call me Yang Ming." Yang Ming smiled. "Then I'll call you Brother Yang." Guan Xiaoxiang also felt that calling Yang Ming Mr. Yang was a bit awkward. "Up to you," Yang Ming said. "Let's talk in the car." "Okay." Guan Xiaoxiang was flattered. It was his first time sitting in such a luxurious car. "Little Wang, find a restaurant," Yang Ming said to Little Wang. But then he remembered that this was Songshan, not Songjiang's territory. Little Wang wouldn't know where to find food, so he turned to Guan Xiaoxiang. "Xiaoxiang, do you know where to go?" Guan Xiaoxiang hesitated and said shyly, "There are a lot of snacks near the school. They're all delicious and not expensive." "Is there a good hotel?" Yang Ming asked. "Forget about those snack bars. They don't even have a private room. Let's find one that's about the same. There is a bigger hotel nearby." It was the Douglas Hotel before, but now it's called the Songjiang International Hotel. Guan Xiaoxiang didn't know that Yang Ming was from Songjiang City, and Guan Xiaomin didn't have time to tell him. When they got in the car, Guan Xiaoxiang didn't notice that Yang Ming's license plate was from Songjiang. Chapter 1862. Oh. Songjiang International Hotel. Yang Ming was slightly taken aback, then smiled. "Let's go there then. It's not cheap there, and there's a minimum price for the private rooms." Guan Xiaoxiang had only heard from a rich classmate in his class that the Songjiang International Hotel was so luxurious that it was like heaven on earth. "Oh, no problem." Yang Ming smiled. "Do you know the address?" After leaving the school, turn right and walk straight for less than a kilometer. Guan Xiaoxiang naturally knew the address. "Little Wang, let's go there." Yang Ming nodded. "Okay, Brother Yang." Little Wang naturally knew that the Songjiang International Hotel was a property of the Ming Yang Group. He was once the security captain of the Songjiang International Hotel. Yang Ming glanced at Guan Xiaoxiang and said, "Oh right, call your girlfriend again and come out together." "My girlfriend? Call her too." Guan Xiaoxiang was a bit tempted. Ever since he became friends with Xiaolan, he had never taken her to a proper hotel. It was either the school cafeteria or the snack bar in front of the school. Although Xiaolan didn't complain about it, Guan Xiaoxiang still felt uncomfortable in his heart. Looking at the rich students in his class bringing their girlfriends to luxury hotels, Guan Xiaoxiang's heart ached. But his pocket money was strictly controlled by Guan Xiaomin. He only had a few hundred yuan a month, so naturally, he didn't dare to be too extravagant. Even when he got a room with Xiaolan, he only dared to go to a budget hotel. The soundproofing was bad, and the environment was bad. But Guan Xiaoxiang had no choice, so he desperately wanted to make money. The more Xiaolan didn't say anything, the more Guan Xiaoxiang felt bad. But Yang Ming's suggestion made Guan Xiaoxiang feel a bit moved. Going to the Songjiang International Hotel was enough to show off to the other students in the class. Can I? Guan Xiaoxiang was afraid that Yang Ming was just being polite, so he carefully confirmed. Why not? You're starting a business with your girlfriend anyway. You can talk about your business plan. Yang Ming smiled. Then. I'll call her now. Guan Xiaoxiang was very happy. He knew in his heart that Yang Ming was treating him like this because of his father, Guan Xueming. However, even if Guan Xueming had helped Yang Ming treat Shen Yushi, there was no need for Yang Ming to help him like this. Besides, Guan Xiaoxiang understood Shen Yushi's condition. There was basically no hope. Why would Yang Ming help him? Guan Xiaoxiang excitedly dialed his girlfriend Xiao Lan's number, but the call was hung up after 2 rings. At the same time, in a duplex bungalow in Songshan's Qianhua Shuian district, a girl nervously hung up the phone in her hand. Xiao Lan, who's calling? A man glanced at the girl's hand and asked. No one. The girl named Xiao Lan suddenly became even more nervous. Let me see the phone. The man glared at Xiao Lan and snatched the phone from her hand. Dad. Xiao Lan had no choice but to answer, it's Xiao Xiang. Please don't be like this, don't be like this. Don't be like what? The man snorted, why didn't you pick up the phone? What did I tell you before for nothing? Dad, Xiao Xiang is actually very good, and his family is not bad. Uncle Guan has a lot of prestige in the medical field. Xiao Lan explained, it's just that Uncle Guan is an honest person, so his family is not rich. Honest my ass. Why do you have so many reasons for not being able to earn money? Zhang Hualan's father, Zhang Dianhai snorted disdainfully, didn't I tell you? I've been promoted. In Songshan, I'm considered a celebrity in society. I know some high-ranking officials and dignitaries. Just based on your looks, I'll introduce you to a young talent who is 100 times better than that bullshit Xiao Xiang. What young talent? Isn't he just a bunch of playboys? Zhang Hualan frowned, Dad, you don't understand Xiao Xiang. Xiao Xiang will definitely be successful in the future. He has the confidence to make his own career. Confidence my ass. What's the use of having confidence without strength? Zhang Dianhai snorted, you don't understand logic. Wait until you get married, you'll understand. Without money, everything is useless. Even though I can earn some money, but at the end of the day, I'm still working for others. The money I earn now is not even enough for me to enjoy my retirement. I'm still hoping that you can find a rich husband in the future to help me out. If you don't find a rich husband, what am I going to do? Xiao Xiang will definitely be rich in the future. Zhang Hualan argued. Alright, let's not talk about those useless things. I don't care about the future. I only care about the present. Zhang Dianhai waved his hand, call him back now and ask him to come out. I want to talk to him. You. What do you want to talk about? Zhang Hualan was shocked and asked. Of course it's about you too. Give me 5 million as a betrothal gift, and I'll agree to you two dating. Otherwise, don't look for you anymore. Zhang Dianhai said. 5 million. Zhang Hualan was shocked. She knew about Guan Xiaoxiang's family situation. How could they have 5 million? Even though they lived in a villa, it was provided by the school. They didn't buy it. What, you think it's too much? It's not much. 5 million is just to prove his ability. If he can't even get 5 million now, then how can he guarantee your happiness in the future? He even said that he'll make a career out of it. Nonsense. Zhang Dianhai said. If he can get 5 million, then I'll believe in his ability. This. Dad, give him some time. He'll definitely find a way. Zhang Hualan could only try to stall for time and take one step at a time. There's no time. Tomorrow is the deadline. If you can't get it, then get out. Zhang Dianhai said. The boss of the hotel is going to introduce a girlfriend to one of his nephews today. With your qualifications, it won't be a problem. If Guan Xiaoxiang can't get the money, then I'll introduce him to you. Dad, can't you be more reasonable? Zhang Hualan was about to cry. What I say is reasonable. Zhang Dianhai snorted. Call him later and ask him to come to my hotel. Let him see what the life of the rich is like. Zhang Dianhai guessed that Guan Xiaoxiang had never been to such a high-end hotel. After he came, he would feel ashamed and then take the initiative to break up with his daughter. When Zhang Dianhai wasn't doing very well, he didn't want to break up Zhang Hualan and Guan Xiaoxiang so fiercely. However, he just started working at the Songjiang International Hotel a few days ago and was appointed as the executive vice president. Suddenly, he became awesome. One must know that the Songjiang International Hotel was one of the best 5-star hotels in Songshan City. The standard of the people he usually interacted with was suddenly higher, so Zhang Dianhai's vision suddenly became higher. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.